Good morning.
I was trying to give Rob advice on the Instagram Live that he hosts for us.
Yeah.
You know, before the show every day on our Instagram account. Because I got a look that a lot of us don't get to look at every day. Yesterday in the Uber from the airport, when I got off the red eye from Sacramento to come do the show, I got to watch along and tune into the Instagram Live to just see what the experience is like, and witness the magic of the behind the scenes of what we get to see, you know?
Right.
But what I don't think Rob realized, at least on mine when I was watching it yesterday, is that he plugs the channel at the end of every Handsome Rob Instagram Live program.
Yes.
And it cuts off. So he just goes, sit! Like he thinks he's saying Sirius XM 103, except it just stops before he even gets to the X, which I didn't know either until I watched. Thank God I was watching.
He gets like real trigger happy.
Yeah, he gets. I don't know if, I mean, unless you hit the button early yesterday and didn't even realize it, because sometimes that'll happen. Like you just, I want it to be timed perfectly, and you end up hitting it, snapping right to it.
I try and time it out perfectly, and but I didn't know. I
didn't know either.
I ended the video because it gives you that you hit the end, and then you have to hit end, yada yada to,
Yeah.
So, tomorrow will be better.
I guess you gotta give it a little lag.
Yeah, well, tomorrow we'll lag it up.
I hope so.
Lag it up, and that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've behaved close to that many times.
That's right. And maybe you can make that announcement as you're doing it.
Lagging it up?
And maybe people could tune in for the lag. Because that's, whatever we can do to make everything a segment is important.
Yeah, it really is. People get addicted to segments.
They like it. And so it's like if you know that on the Instagram Live portion of the pre-show, you're going to get the morning lag, I think that could be a really hot segment, don't you?
No, I don't think so at all.
You don't think people would tune in for the morning lag?
No, I don't, but I understand why we should have him do it.
Oh, okay. All right. So,
I do understand the reason to have Rob do it.
So you think it could end up being foolish and embarrassing?
Yeah, just another silly Instagram thing that nobody cares about.
Okay, well, let's just see which one it is.
I agree.
Okay,
we should try it.
You don't know unless you try, right?
Sure.
We'll go for the morning lag tomorrow.
Tune in for the lag tomorrow.
Oh, well, welcome. It's, of course, Jim Norton and Sam Roberts here on Tuesday. I got my new iPhone 11 Pro Max yesterday. Anything they can do. They like to add the words to the nicer one and make it seem like the shitty one is still good and just regular. So the shitty one, instead of calling it, remember like they came out and the shitty one was called like the iPhone C or whatever it was?
Yeah.
Now the shitty one is just called iPhone 11.
Oh, good, but it's not the Pro Max.
Not Pro Max.
What a shitty fucking corporate add-on name that is.
Pro Max? Because you can get the iPhone 11, which you go like, oh, I got the new iPhone 11. Which one? Well, I just got the 11. Oh, you get the shitty one.
Yeah.
Or you get the iPhone 11 Pro, because it's got a third camera on it. Or you can get the iPhone 11 Pro Max.
Oh, there's 3 versions.
Because it's got the third camera and it's got the bigger screen.
But what's the size of the screen on the Pro Max?
I'm pretty sure it's the same one that you have.
Oh, it's
it says whatever the last big one was. I took the iPhone I already had, I guess the 10 or the 10, whatever came out after the 10. I took that out of the case and I compared it. It's exactly the same size as the 11.
Yeah.
So it's not a bigger screen unless you're upgrading from an older phone.
Travis showed me a photo. He goes, the camera is better. So he shows me the photo that he took.
Yeah.
In Disney.
Yeah.
And it was a fine photo.
Right.
Like any other iPhone would take.
You were like this. Oh, yeah. I could see where a phone would take that.
Sure, I could see where my phone would do that.
We live in that time right now.
Yeah, but he's acting like he has fucking, high imaging capability, Hubble equipment.
It is. It's close.
Stupid hype buyer.
It is all hype.
I'll eventually get it.
So I was looking at it. I haven't determined, aside from the camera, because there's 3 cameras, not 2 cameras. There's 3.
Sure, third one.
Aside from the camera, I don't think there's any difference. Maybe there's difference on the inside, like they say the battery's longer.
They always say that.
But it might just be new.
They always say that. And here's something new. You have to get a new case because the fucking 3 cameras on the back it looks like something from 1920.
Right. It's like a Bolex like 16 millimeter camera.
Those old school
With
cameras.
the shifting lenses or whatever. Yeah, I don't have a case on mine yet.
Of course not, because let me see how.
And it's green. It's like forest green. You can't get forest green if it's not a new one.
Yeah, the whole back is 3 cameras on the back.
Yeah, there's 3 giant cameras on the back. But I'll say the cameras are better.
And you can film. That's yet to be determined. And you can film yourself and someone else if you're doing something. We did see with that software you can.
But
do
that's
that.
software, so I don't know if that's specifically.
It won't do
for
it
this.
on mine.
You sure?
I bet you it won't.
Because you have the front and the back cameras on yours too. I don't know.
I do, but
And if it's a software thing, you would think, but who knows? I have no idea.
maybe I'll try it.
Maybe there's some kind of super. They always say like, oh, and this one has the new processor, and when you're watching it, you go, wow. But then once you get it, there's no discernible difference.
Yeah.
Between if you have like an iPhone 6 and you get the 11, you're like, holy shit, this is faster. But if you go from one to the next one,
You don't notice.
There's no difference.
No, Travis's photo is nice, but it's not,
So
Night photos are amazing.
the night
with
photos
this
are
one.
crazy.
There's no denying it.
Crazy. I was
the
taking.
thing was lit though.
No,
I mean, you can take. I've got comparisons from like
dude. I'll show
the
you.
first night that I got it. I took my old phone and this phone out when I walked my dog, and I was like taking photos with both just to see the comparison.
You should have followed that up by killing yourself.
But it was crazy. It was a noticeable difference.
I'll show you this. Now, I'm not 100% sure that I'll ever use this practically. I think it'll more be used as like a parlor trick. But see this photo I'm showing you right here, Jim?
Yeah, it's a sidewalk.
Right. And what's
Hate
on
it.
the sidewalk?
I wish it was your body.
No.
And chalk outline.
Then Travis and I would both be deceased.
You would miss us both, Terry.
Yeah, so much.
What's on the sidewalk?
And plus, that would be 80% of your friends dead.
Let me see. It's a blue. I can't see from here, but what blue? What?
It's like a blue swimming pool.
Yes.
Right. This photo was taken with 0 light in the middle of the night. There's no light being shined on this photo, and it's the middle of the night. It is pitch black. I could not see the pool when I took the photo.
And your flash went off.
No flash.
I don't
No
believe
flash. It's just how it works.
I swear to you. There's no flash. Look at this
it.
one.
Oh, okay.
It's just exposure.
What's
time.
this a photo of? It's like orangey, but what's it a photo of?
An orange.
No, it's not an orange.
Let me see.
It's not Mars either.
It looks
You
like
got a photo of Mars?
it looks like a radio.
Yeah, he's not fixing any mics or anything. It's like it's a bureau. It's a dresser drawers.
Of what? Oh,
This photo, which you can clearly make out, there's pillows on the top. Here's the drawers and everything.
give me a time frame.
This
what was
was-
the lighting situation?
This was taken
In broad daylight.
in my bedroom
Ooh.
at night
Ooh.
when I was under the covers with no light in the room. None.
Just turn the
You're
lights off in
saying-
here and take a photo.
He's describing it though the way someone describes a ghost experience.
Yes.
No one opened that door. I was alone.
Right,
The
and then-
door opened.
It's like your ghost TV show episode.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, right?
It's great.
The
It's
Edgar
my
Sweet.
favorite one of television ever.
You like the guy's teeth that dry.
His teeth are dry.
Who drank this?
Oh my God. They gave you a half-drink bottle of water. Way to go, Mike Montone. He was sitting there thinking about the headlines and how much he's going to bench today.
Where's his muscle milk?
he's trying to
Rob's
think.
coming in to fix it.
it
He was getting frustrated because he couldn't find muscle milk in the Dwayne Reed this morning. And he's really doesn't like to start his day without a nice muscle milk.
Are they all open?
No, the one he just drank wasn't open. But it was
That
missing.
one over there is open. Whose is that?
Oh my God, that's
I mean, it looks like it might be open, but it also looks like it has the same amount of water.
Oh,
as
the
one
label's
next
just
to
hanging
it,
off.
yeah.
Yeah, there is definitely a difference at night. That's great.
huge difference. So the night camera.
Tell
is,
me more about the bureau story. That was a good one.
bro,
It's pitch black.
Bro.
You're in bed.
bro. No lights. I couldn't see what was in front of me, and then I took a picture of it and get Mike a muscle milk so he's back on track.
Yeah.
There was no lights in front of me. I couldn't see what I was taking a photo of, and then I took the photo, and I could see it in the photo. No flash, bro. You saw what color the pool was. You said blue. No flash.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have seen that. If you came over and just looked at it, you couldn't have been able to tell what color it was because it's dark outside.
I don't see color anyway.
That's actually a good point. Maybe this isn't such a good feature.
It's exactly a phone of racism.
Right, exactly. All we're
Highlights
doing,
color and differences.
yeah, we're encouraging people to see color. They shouldn't be looking
They
at
should
it.
not. Yeah, it's a
And-
good camera.
And the third lens, the wide angle lens, is also incredible.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, let me ask you, can you get them in the store yet? Of course you can't.
Probably not. There probably is
No,
a way.
why wouldn't they be?
Look at this. Okay. You ready for this, Jim? I'm going to show you right now. You see this picture of my dog right
the
there?
Dog. Yes. Tell him what happened. She was
That's
what?
right.
She was on the dark side of the moon.
No.
There was no light.
No, this is actually taken in a well lit situation
Oh,
with
okay,
the
it's a
window.
terrible photo.
It's not a terrible photo. It's a beautiful photo. All the detail.
Rotten animal.
Look at this. I'm sitting in the same position every time. This is the three lenses,
Sorry, with
okay?
the dog on top of you from behind.
That's not true. No. That's not proper.
Paws on your shoulders.
It's a female dog. She had a strap on.
I actually certainly did. With a little bone tied around her waist. Sticking it in Sammy's hiney.
That's not the kind of activity. Look at this, Jim. Okay? So there's the close-up.
I don't think Jim's taking you too seriously.
He
right
will,
now.
though. He will in this one. This is going to
What's
get him.
funnier than thinking of him with a milk bone being shoved in his little hiney?
A strap-on milk bone. It's themed.
All right.
Okay. I'm sitting in the same space. I'm not moving.
That's true.
See how it's zoomed out?
Yeah, dog's further away there.
No, dog is in the
Dog is moved.
And watch this. Same positioning.
Oh,
Look
yeah,
how far away that dog is
Yeah,
now.
yeah, I have a zoom on my phone too.
No.
Cool.
No zoom.
Zoom in on that joker.
Cool. You know what happens when you zoom in?
Boom, right.
You lose resolution.
Brings the no. I have the same fortitude.
That was terrible.
Yep.
That was
cute.
That was,
Indeed it was.
you thought it was cute.
Yeah, I thought it was
Well,
cute.
thanks.
Okay.
When you walk through
Thank
the
you.
garden. Okay, now I don't.
That is nice.
Look at all that area you get with the wide. That's the wide angle. You don't have
Wow.
this. You don't have the ability to do this.
No, that's
You don't.
actually it's not bad.
There's some. I've seen so many photos where people are using that, and they're just using it wrong. Like it just looks like you
Fisheye?
zoomed out of something.
Yeah.
But if you use it for like forced perspective and stuff,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So the
Or if you go to see like Green Day and Blink 182 at a stadium,
Oh, that would be dope.
you get the whole stage.
how much is the new phone?
That's I don't know, $1,200 or
60
something.
bucks.
Same price as always.
$60 a month. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's how I pay for it.
Yeah.
Oh, 60, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just pay monthly.
Pay over
Same
time.
price.
Pay
Monthly.
overtime.
Why do you gotta say it like that?
Yeah, it's if I could go to the store and get it, I would, but I can't.
I don't know if you can get. You probably can't get the green one because the green one, they only make green new phones, so you gotta get green. Did you get green, Travis?
Of course, I got green.
Because that way, as soon as people see it, they're like definitely new,
They
and
know.
then they see the three cameras, they're like, "Fuck,
I'm like shit.
it's
that
a
guy's got
Pro
it going
Max."
on.
Hey, can somebody check when there's time? It doesn't have to be right now.
I'll check right now.
If the no on the can you on the iPhone XS Max use the focus both way cameras?
Who
Can you
cares
do-
about that?
But that's an amazing feature.
No, it's
You
not.
never use it, dude.
I really will. I 100% will use that.
For what?
Different things, different projects I'm working on that I've not discussed.
Pads of paper. Parker, think of a million things to do with these.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
good.
once I got past like the cameras,
1250.
I was like, yeah, it's the same phone.
Can somebody sell me their 10? Actually, give it to me. Just
You're
say-
thinking more on the house, more of a friendship, a gesture of friendship.
Yeah, it's just sitting there.
Yeah, no, I got to send mine back. So, because if you send yours, if it's $60 a month, bro, pony up. You got a gold record. I see you on Instagram flexing. You can't. You can't.
That just turned gold.
Ah, fucking great, Troy.
You can't flex on Instagram and then come on here trying to get a free used phone. It's not. You can't.
Awesome.
You shouldn't have a gold record in an iPhone 8.
Oh, that's bad.
Do I look like an
Is that
asshole?
you have an
Yeah.
iPhone 8 right now?
I do.
You're gonna wait till your mind is gonna be blown by this new phone.
Is that a tiny phone?
No, it's the big one.
Okay.
Troy still uses Touch ID.
You have a button on your phone, dude. You have a gold record and a button on your phone.
Yeah, he touches it. He doesn't have to hold the phone up to his face like all of us do.
It's not good for your brand, Troy.
It's not good for your brand.
That's
it says
very true.
it's
No.
not about the technology. It's about the fact that it's weak sauce.
Well, it still works great.
I mean,
Sure.
yeah, I
Still
guess.
old cars.
Yeah, exactly. Are you going to walk around in like a 96 Ford Taurus or something because it still runs?
Jenkos are still jeans. You're not going to wear them.
There's no holes in them.
No.
Some people will.
Well, some people are fools.
The chipper will still
Yeah.
will still put on
Chipper
a pair
will
of
still
Jenkos.
rock them,
Yeah.
indeed.
Well, he's a metalhead. Yeah. But yeah, you can't have a gold record in iPhone 8. You look ridiculous.
Do I?
You look like a fucking schmuck, dude.
Shit.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Imagine
I
you're
don't
in
want to say anything, but it kind of
Thank
ages
God.
them.
It does.
Yeah, it shows your age.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, hook up the 10, Travis.
No, I sold mine.
Travis put his on
How
eBay.
much?
700.
It's a good deal.
Wow.
Yeah, they have
It's
great resale.
700?
They have great resale value.
Yeah, because they get sold to people who sell them overseas.
Yep.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People buy them and then they send them overseas.
And you sell it at the 10S. So if I got that and then sold the 10S Max, I could get 500 for this.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah,
Where?
for sure.
Where?
eBay.
Well, I mean, eBay's the place you're going to get the most for it. It also comes with the most risk because, people might not pay or you might have to jump through some hoops to do it, but you're going to get the most money there.
Apple give you an Apple card. They'll
Yeah.
give you trade-in value for
Apple
it.
give you trade-in value. There's other places that
For how
give
much?
you,
It'll be less, but not that. I mean, it'll be a few $100 in Apple gift card.
I just keep. So I brought if I have like one or two old phones.
We've gone over this before. Yeah, you've got money just sitting in your drawer.
You do.
Sell it to your boy.
On that discount. Friends and family.
That's right.
Yeah.
You just
No.
wipe it and send it away.
I have to send mine back to Apple because if you can get the new phone for what you're paying for the old phone, but you have to send the old phone back so they can forgive the loan.
Yeah, I
That
understand.
instead of me getting money back for the phone, they just
Forgive it.
forgive
sure.
the rest of the loan, which is, it ends up being
I would do
about
that
the
if I
same.
could bring this in after. Like I could take it home because I don't use a cloud. I could take it home, hook it to my computer, back it up, and then bring this back to the store. If I
You
can
wouldn't
get-
have to bring that back to the store. You're not paying like monthly for that.
No, but
you
just
bought
to
that
get
outright.
credit for it.
If
they
Jim
would
wanted
give
to
you
make
credit
it
for
the
it.
simplest way,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
simplest thing to
Absolutely.
do would be go to Apple Store, get a nice little Apple gift card.
Yep.
I could sell it. That you could help me sell it. Show me how to do it.
Yeah, of course.
I would sell it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's brand new. I mean, it's like literally a few months old.
Plus, you don't have any friends that need it, so just sell it on eBay. Get the most money
yeah,
for
get
it.
the most money. Absolutely.
I love Troy, but $700.
Yeah, you're trying to get
That's a
that
lot of money.
cash. Yeah.
Kind of hope you just hook it up.
But,
That's understandable.
unfortunately not. Not this time. Not this go around.
Troy, you can probably get one refurbished though on Apple's website.
You know what? I've learned my lesson with that shit.
What happened?
They just always fuck up. They're just never good. There's always some sort of issue.
Bro, it's $60 a month. Come
yeah,
on.
just it's a
You got a gold record. It's enough. It looks
Yeah, times are tough, guys.
stupid. You don't want to admit that, though. You say that privately. You don't say that publicly with your phone.
That's true.
I
You're
mean,
trying
I'm-
to flex on these hoes. You know what I
Sure,
mean?
I am balling, but I'm trying to just.
How are you doing an interview in a helicopter wearing a suit with an iPhone 8 being like, well, I can't really afford the new phone? Like, that's not cool.
Do I look like an asshole?
Yeah, it's not a good look, man. You
No.
look like an asshole.
don't
maybe
think
you
it
can get
matters.
like a cheaper one. Maybe he could get like the 64 gig. That'll probably
How many
bring
gigs are there?
64, 256, and 516.
Is that what they have on the 10 too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
got
like the
250.
standard now because
I got 256.
The
Yeah,
fucking
256
music adds
is
up
enough.
space-wise. I'm going to get the 5 something.
256 is enough.
Not in my world, it's not.
Yeah,
Well,
because
we
you're the
live in
last
different-
person left that's not using the cloud.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, if you use the cloud, it's easy. You're right. If I wasn't using the cloud, it would definitely be 500 gigs.
Yeah.
But I'm not paying the extra money. And the 64 gigs is a joke.
Well, that's why they just put it there because everybody's like, I'm not going to get the 64 gig.
I mean,
Half of it's taken up by memory anyway.
how come between the second and third,
Mhm.
the third is double the second? Perfect.
Mhm.
Between the first and second, the second is quadruple.
It's to make you spend that extra $100 and
Yeah.
just go for the 256.
Yeah, like you'd be an asshole to
Exactly.
get the 64 gig.
Yeah.
But still an option, Troy, if you're trying to save a couple
Yeah,
bucks.
yeah. I mean, if you're looking to bring that bill down, just go for the 64. You
I'll
got
get
it.
one.
It's all
I'll
right.
get one.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, imagine like people bought a ticket to see you DJ, and then you pull out your phone, and they're like, I should never have bought this ticket.
You think
If-
they would say that?
Yeah, because they go like this. If this person was worth buying a ticket for, he'd be able to afford a new phone.
Yeah. You don't want to be out on a date and be like, hang on, I got to take my glove off to open my phone.
Oh my God, I didn't even think of that, but you're
Yeah.
right, because the fingerprint technology.
Yeah.
Ah, shit.
Oh yeah. If it's a cold New York evening,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, better take off my mitten. I have to unlock my phone. And she's like, why would you have to? Oh no, I still have a button on mine. It's not good.
I'm just gonna wait till you can walk into a store and just buy it.
That's
yeah,
probably the move.
I tend to do that as well.
Or Troy could just flip it and be like, I'm going retro. Got that
Flip
Touch
phone?
ID.
Was-
Oh, yeah.
So you go to the store right now, you don't think they have them?
There are, I mean, I just checked. There are stores where you could get them today. Sure.
the green one?
Yeah.
Max?
Greenwood envy.
That's what you're going to make everybody.
Yep.
That's how you're going to make everybody feel.
It's chill.
You can just hold up your phone and be like, it's a mirror. And they're like, no, it's green. And you're
Chill.
like, yeah, exactly. Be a good little gag for Chip.
Oh, people go crazy with that.
Yeah, they'd love it. And this is probably wouldn't be the same for you because you don't use the cloud or anything, but the transferring the old stuff to the new phone, it was a really very good experience.
Oh, it's the best. Just putting your phone next to the other phone and just letting it do the work.
Holding my phone.
Oh, is that how it
Awesome.
works?
Yeah.
I'm holding my phone, right? And then I open the new phone and I turn it on and it goes, put your old phone next to this one. I go, okay. And so I do. And it just starts like it recognizes that it's my old phone. It goes, is this your number? I go, yeah, it is. Click yes. And then like this pattern shows up on the old phone. And it's just like these dots or whatever. And it says, put the camera on the new phone to the pattern on the old phone. You go, okay. And you just put it over it. And then all of a sudden, and it takes like 20 minutes total.
Ah.
And everything from your old phone, all your preferences, everything's
It's like
logged
a massive
in.
airdrop of everything.
Everything.
Yeah, pretty much. Like if you can't back up your phone for some reason, like let's say you don't have a MacBook, so you can't back it up, and you don't have the cloud, so you're not going to back it up there. You can just transfer everything from one phone to another.
But don't you need the cloud to do it?
No, it does it. It does it because
I use the cloud because it's quicker when you use the cloud. I guess you don't because it was an option to not use the cloud.
Yeah, you can just transfer everything from one phone to the next.
That's great.
because
I think it said with the cloud it would take 15 minutes. Without the cloud it would take like an hour and a half.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
still
yeah.
an hour and a half.
You have to be on Wi-Fi.
I mean,
Oh shit!
Who was that?
I was hoping you could take a picture of it.
Turn the lights off. I'll get it. Yeah, I think you have to be on Wi-Fi. But you do it in your home.
Yeah.
You got Wi-Fi in your house? You can't afford it right now.
I'm still on a landline.
Okay. 56K
luck.
dial-up?
That's right.
Okay, that's cool. That's still good.
bad look for Troy.
Can't have anybody in the apartment pick up the phone while you're on the internet because it'll interrupt.
Oh, God, Jim, that is
Come on,
bad.
thanks. I appreciate it.
Did the gas smell?
It's bad.
Is it? Come on. I disagree.
Whew.
Some people just don't appreciate you, Jim.
It's crazy. Like
Yeah.
you try to give, I give till it hurts.
Yeah, I'm glad everything else though is exactly the same. My experience with the phone.
Face ID is
If I hit
quicker.
his phone with a hammer.
Yes, I would.
Is Face ID quicker?
I've noticed. Yeah, it's very fast.
I mean, I guess, but do you
Yeah.
ever think that Face ID isn't fast enough?
I've
No.
also noticed it's got better
No.
angles. Like if I've got it on a table, I don't have to like look directly at it anymore,
Mm.
which is nice.
Lucky it.
Yeah, that's probably just for you.
Quite
They
neat.
needed to protect the camera lens.
You mean the phone is doing it on its own?
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's good enough.
Yeah, exactly. Fine, we're good. We got it. Got it. It's you.
Travis kept taking his iPhone to the Apple Genius Bar. I don't know. There's something wrong with the selfie
Yeah.
lens. Oh yeah, we know what this is.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happens. I held it up to a pile of shit and the phone opened.
Sam, did you take a Slowfie yet?
Oh no, I forgot I could take Slovies have not caught on, have they?
No, it's
I
just
don't
a
see
slow
them
motion
anywhere.
camera on the front.
Yeah, I remember when
Slow-fee.
they announced the iPhone, they said you could do Slofies. They wanted to
with the 11?
with the 11
Ooh,
Pro Max.
of course.
You could take Slofies that the selfie camera can now do slow motion videos. And they
For
called
what?
for Slofies?
Who the
Main-
fuck wants a slow motion
You don't want to take
video?
a Slowfie? You
no,
know
I
what?
don't.
Tomorrow
Yeah.
for the show photo,
Maybe we do
Oh,
a
all right.
Slofie.
do a Slowfie.
This is really going to bring up my my presence on TikTok. This will be really good.
For sure.
I'm going to start posting Slofies on TikTok and get a whole new audience for the show.
When you take the Slowfie,
Yes.
does it is it taking it in regular speed as well?
I don't think
It's
so.
just like the slow motion camera on the back.
I don't know. I've
I
never
know you had
used
a
a slow motion
I
camera on the
haven't
back either.
Oh, really?
I mean, I've seen other people use it and it looks cool, but I've never used it.
Let me see. I took a Slowfie of my
In
daughter.
the White Room. In my head all
Stop
day.
doing that, man.
It is a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can edit it. You can edit the speed.
So that you can have the original
Yep.
version too.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that so it doesn't ruin your original copy.
No. It takes it in slow motion, but you can convert it to
fast motion.
Yeah.
Regular motion.
It is chill.
I didn't like to sell my old phones. I can't stop
I
thinking
mean,
about
we've
it.
gone over this before.
I know
Yeah, we have gone over. I feel like every time a phone comes out, you get that information.
That's quite true.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just
didn't know
save
that.
them because I'm always afraid of losing my photos and stuff. So my old phones have my photos and stuff on them. Like, well, if I lose this one, I still have a lot of them backed up on the other phone.
Yeah, but you've got them backed up on hard drives too.
Yeah, I do.
You've got like backup upon backup of your
I
photos.
do. I just have, my photos.
Precious photos.
Yeah, I know. And none of them are. They're just.
I used to save the phones and then realized very quickly if I'm upgrading every year or two and they're just putting out the same phone over and over again, there is no merit to having.
There really isn't, and I will get rid of it. I was afraid that people could get your fucking information. It's like, yeah, they're not going to. You
No, you
wipe
can-
it and it's fine.
Yeah, when you wipe it, it's for real.
You can trust Apple.
Yeah, I do with that shit.
Yeah, me too.
The cloud I don't trust 'cause it's a password thing, but
And the photos aren't color coded.
if they could do that,
Do you think he's mocking you when he says that?
yes, but I'm taking his mockery as a valid point.
Good.
When they're quote
Because you're making him look stupid then.
coded
That's true.
a certain
I'm
way.
the fool.
I think so.
Yeah, I just resisted.
You are. Well, you're part of the resistance.
I just don't like it.
You're part of the iCloud
Do
resistance.
you use the cloud?
Of course.
All right.
Yeah.
It's so easy, man. Especially you lose your phone, you log in, it goes. "Broop," there's
I
all
watched
your shit.
Jonathan have a nightmare with the cloud one time where stuff wasn't backing up and he thought he lost everything. Like I had that once. I'm telling you,
Probably just
mobile
didn't have enough
me,
storage.
mobile no,
Dude, that
Mob-
was so long ago.
Mobile
me
was like,
ruined me forever.
it was like 10 years ago.
I know, but I mean that ruined me because it was fucking all of a sudden it wiped out all this information and the cloud. I had taken stuff off my phone, the cloud put it back on or mobile. It was like fuck.
But now
you.
literally everybody uses the cloud and they don't even delete anything.
No.
What
Like,
do you mean?
It's 30 days before anything's permanently deleted. So even if you accidentally deleted everything and you blame the cloud instead of what it would probably be, which is operator error, you could still go back onto iCloud and it would all still be there in recently deleted. So there's no risk of actually losing everything.
Yeah, no,
anymore.
I know. In your photos, they have that too for 30 days.
Yeah,
Unless
it's the
you
same-
go in and manually do it. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. And Troy's got, his dick all over his phone and nobody's hacked into that.
That's right.
I'm not worried about my dick. I don't care who sees that.
You show it to the world
Who cares?
at this
It's
point.
a dick. No one
It's
cares.
it's pretty impressive, Jim.
But do you think people would be like utterly shocked? Do you think it would hurt your career if people found out you had photos of your penis on your phone?
No, I don't.
You don't think so?
No.
You think you'd probably still be
I
able
think I'd survive that.
you'd carry on your business?
Sure.
Okay,
It would
I
help,
hope so.
actually.
It probably would. It probably would. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe you think about with this new phone, slowly seeing what it's like on the other side of the resistance, seeing if maybe there is some merit to the cloud.
And I think with the cloud, you can not put up photos, right?
You could choose what you put up.
Yeah, then what's the use of it?
Your
just to get
contacts, you move between devices much more easily. You can
all your apps.
Yeah, you can, in your computer. I mean, I use it for everything. So when I get a new phone, everything's there. When I turn on my computer, my texts and my photos and everything that I was just working with is still there.
Oh, and it's syncing all of them up. I wouldn't like that because then you have duplicates of everything. Again, mobile me fucked me up so bad.
I'd have never have duplicates of anything.
You don't?
No. And like when I'm on a plane, for instance, and I'm like when I was on the plane to Sacramento, I was making notes about stuff on my iPad, and I just did it in my Pages app on my iPad.
You need it on Pages, not your Notepad.
No, Notes sync too. Like you could do it. I could have done it on Notes, but I wanted to do it in a word processor, so I did it on Pages.
I've never used Pages.
It's like Microsoft Word, same thing.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, but I knew that I would just like finish writing what I was writing and then shut off my iPad, and then once I had internet, like if I'm like, oh, I want to add something, here's my laptop. I could just open the laptop. The thing's gonna be right there. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that, and your notes too. Like if I did it on Notes, if I'm just walking around, I'm like, oh, let me make a note of that, and all I have is my iPad next to me. I don't have to go find my phone. My notes are right there. Like it really does, because I'm with you. I don't like all the information being out there. I don't like all this new technology and the complete erasing of sort of data and privacy, and just you have to give it up to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, I use if I stopped using the cloud, it would make my life more difficult in many ways.
And that's how it was with all this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, but for me, the cloud, I just do not
You know,
no.
and I get it. I was part of the Mobile Me thing. I was an early adopter
It
for
fucked
Mobile
me up.
Me.
So I loved it when I had it, and then when it wiped out months of information.
It was fucked up.
Photos were it
It
just stunk.
Mobile Me was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Eventually, you're going to have to use it.
Yeah.
Mobile Me?
No, no,
Because
the
you
cloud.
don't have to. It's over.
Jim's going to be like,
Have to use a Y.
just because that's going to be the way that technology goes.
Yeah, they're going to come out with a phone
That
that's
does
like,
not back up any other way.
like there's no storage on it. They're like, we decided to take out. Eventually, they took out headphones. You don't think eventually Apple's going to be like, there's 5 gigs of storage on this phone and that's it. We took out the hard drive and now look how light it is. And everybody be like, oh my God, my phone's so light and it's so inexpensive
No,
now.
it'll be something better than light. There'll be something that makes it an irresistible phone.
Yeah.
That has a minimal amount of storage. They always have some storage because they have to.
But it'll be like 10 gigs.
Because if you yeah.
It won't be enough to actually store anything. It'll be enough so like the minute you take a photo, it would appear, or you can run video on it or whatever. But yeah,
Well,
I mean,
just like career-wise, like just sharing stuff and being able to access your pitches or whatever quicker, and other people can access it too.
other people aren't interested, unfortunately, with the
all
Jim's
right. Well,
pitches.
That's a very, very
yeah.
valid point.
You don't need to.
No, I've made them accessible, and people are like, no, thanks.
No, thank you.
Would
Yeah.
you like my password? No.
They're very, very easy to get.
Can I have your password? Well, if you want it, I'll give it to you. But
Yeah.
Jim's
Yeah.
gonna be like Donald Glover in Atlanta when they went to go pitch the song and they only had a CD.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I have it. I filmed a copy of this show. If I have a data DVD here, if anybody has a computer with it, it's a data DVD. There's an MPEG on my data DVD. Jim, we're not using data discs.
Patrick in New York has a very unfair point.
Let's see. What's up, Patrick?
Hey guys, I mean, every time Jim brings up Mobile Me, I feel like, I won't fly a plane because the Hindenburg crash, 1920, whatever the hell it was. I mean, what the hell is he talking about Mobile Me still?
I have to tell you something. Patrick brings up a very astute point.
He does not.
Instead of sitting there and going like, oh, well, that was 10 years ago, and the
Right.
world has completely changed, and all these companies are using the cloud, and they've perfected it, and everybody uses it, and nobody has problems. You do go back to the Hindenburg.
No, I know, because it's not
Oh,
the
the
technology.
horror!
Thank you,
No, the
Patrick.
technology is not that different. I know what you mean. It's I don't.
It's
trust-
incredibly different. It's
I know.
totally
I
different.
watched
You know how-
Jonathan have trouble. We were in Australia.
Jonathan has trouble with a lot.
Finding pants that fit properly.
Exactly.
Sure.
Here's the thing.
Giant trouser.
That's
gear.
probably the issue.
You don't
Sure.
think that the balls could have been interfering with some of the reception of the cloud?
I do.
They were probably trying to zap all his data to his testicles because they were just so pronounced.
Sure, his genitals do act like a wall blocking all signal.
Yeah, he's got a firewall in his pants. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's like, he's right. When you think about the Hindenburg, it's like, oh, it sounds so scary to do air travel.
Yeah.
But then you realize everybody goes on planes and almost nobody dies in plane crashes. And that's how you know it's okay to fly in planes. Everybody's on the cloud. And
But
they're
when
not-
they do die, oof, it's ugly.
oh, yeah. You're taking a calculated risk.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because you're right. Yeah. If you fuck up with the cloud, that's your life.
Yeah.
But that's also just like people getting access to old passwords. It's not hacking into your information.
Yeah, and I think some of these Hollywood hacks are not. I think it's like more like what happened with Jeff Bezos. Like when somebody gets access to a person who got the nudes sent to them, and then they get the photos that way. They're not
Sure.
actually hacking into the system because you never see emails, you never see text messages, you never see like conversations.
That's weird. You don't.
Right.
I've noticed that too. I don't understand why.
Because it's not like you could just hack into one part of the cloud. If you're in, you're in. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I think they just say they hacked into the cloud because it's easier for people to understand. And they don't want to say, yeah, some guy who this chick sent nude photos to sent it to somebody else. Because realistically, don't you think if there's a celebrity sending you titty shots, some of these douchebags might have
gonna
sent it
leak
to their
out?
friends? Like, look,
And how bad could the photos be that you have?
Honestly, nothing. It's other people's stuff. It's nothing earth shattering. Oh my! But if somebody has trusted me with a photo of themselves,
Mm-hmm.
the idea that somebody else could get it it's
It's
like
to protect the other
violation.
people, not
And
to protect you. Yeah, no, I believe that.
There's no compromising photos of me. Nobody would care
Right.
about any of the photos individually. There's nothing terrible. There's not even any hardcore fucking picture. It's nothing like that. It's just if somebody sends you something.
Yeah, you want them to be able to trust you. You don't want to.
Yeah.
And if anybody's going to fuck it up, it would be the guy, and I don't want to go back to a bit, but it would be the guy that in real life accidentally printed out a dirty text conversation and left it in the printer.
Sucks.
That was a rough day. That was a rough day. Oof.
Man St. Louis actually brings up a very good point
Jim,
about the new
get up.
iPhone.
Oh.
Is that what you said?
Yeah. Get up, Jim. Saturday morning. I knew I was.
And
What's going on, guys?
you're out of a slumber
Dude.
trying to figure out excuses real quick.
I knew my goose was cooked.
Did I hit print?
Oh, it didn't even occur to me until she said the girl's screen name,
But she had the screen name.
which told me that she knew. Yeah.
Shit.
I'm like, why? Oh, I didn't.
No, I didn't. Just deny it wasn't me.
And then she said it to the girl's name. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
What's going on, Matt?
I started the show and on the app. I didn't know if you guys had already passed this, but Jimmy, yeah, the new iPhone really, you know now that you can really make the dick pics look way, way better. That's a huge plus.
That
That's
is a
true.
selling point.
Because when you use the zoom out, but you use it close up,
Right.
you can force.
Not that I have an issue with that or anything like that.
Oh, I'm sure not, Matt.
No, of
I'm sure
course not.
yours is just
Yeah, yeah,
fantastic. Yeah, yeah.
You're obviously very big down there.
That's right, girthy
Yeah.
too. Thank you, Matt,
It's
for
hard.
bringing that up. Because through forced perspective, you could probably take some amazing penile photos.
The detail has to be amazing. You can see the veins and the little hair follicles.
Do you have good vascularity?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what you can check for sure.
Yeah, that's important. Brandon in Oklahoma brings up a good question too. What's up, Brandon?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, man.
I agree with Jim on fuck the cloud and what is mobile mean. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's an older story. It was 10 years ago.
Yeah, he was asking what mobile me was. That was Apple's first crack at linking everything together. It was kind of like somebody had the idea for the cloud, and Apple was just like, yeah, why don't we just do this now? But servers started crashing. You couldn't log into your shit. Everything moved slow, and then stuff started getting deleted.
Oh, it was the fucking worst.
Like you would sync, and it wouldn't sync, but it would delete the original. It was really bad. I remember trying it out, and it was horrible. But it's really not like that anymore. Like you don't even realize that you're using the cloud half the time. It's just there. It just happens. It works the way they said the original one was going to work 10 years ago, you know? But yeah, so I got the new phone.
5 safety concerned. Huh.
Is the cloud protected? Yes, the cloud is protected, you know. Yeah, I was on Twitter yesterday, and somebody blew a hole right through my. There are no. So much death today. Somebody blew a hole right through my theory on there's no bad jokers.
Yep.
I had stripped it from my mind.
I saw that.
And it was so true. They were like, yeah, how about Jared Leto? I was like, okay.
Why was he a bad joker?
He was horrible. He looked like Lil Wayne.
Well, that wasn't his fault, though.
No, but then, I mean, the choices he made were all wrong. Look.
Let me see Jared Leto's. I bet he was great.
DC has not done a good job with comic book movies. Jared Leto played the Joker in Suicide Squad, and it was horrible.
Go to video. I want to see what a second. I've seen none of it.
He had like a chrome grill in his mouth. He had tattoos all over.
Ah, cool.
He was almost like a hip hop Joker type.
Okay. Does he talk?
He does.
Was this a good movie?
No, it was really bad.
You know what they say about the crazy ones?
What?
Even the laugh is bad.
He was just trying to do a different.
Oh, I'm not gonna kill you.
I'm just gonna hurt you. Really, really bad.
He sounds like Gary Busey. Fair, forget everything and run.
He sounds exactly like Gary Busey. Yeah, the laugh wasn't good. Yeah, I kind of stripped this one from the memory.
Yeah.
I didn't even count this one, I guess, but they were right to count it. Jared Leto did fuck up as the Joker. It wasn't good. Is he going to be back for the Suicide Squad sequel that they're doing?
No.
Good. They're recasting the whole thing?
Yeah, and I don't even know if the Joker is going to be a part of it.
I hope John Cena plays the Joker. He's in Suicide Squad
So is
too.
Pete Davidson.
Is he?
Yeah.
I wonder if he's playing the Joker.
I don't know.
Maybe they won't do the Joker at all. They shouldn't do the Joker.
I mean, they don't need to do Joker.
Yeah, they shouldn't.
Yeah. I trust James Gunn.
Yeah, because
he'll do.
Did he do the first one?
No.
Oh.
No.
I'm joking.
I'm joking.
The Joker.
Yeah, no, I know it was.
I didn't know if he was responding to me or doing his.
Here's what the Joker will sound like.
No, he farted.
Jim.
It's a joke.
It's the Joker, eh, man?
Yeah.
It's my character.
Yeah, I mean, whatever James Gunn does, I'll trust him.
He did a good job with the Guardians of the Galaxies.
Yeah.
But there have been more good Jokers than bad Jokers, though. Joaquin Phoenix was amazing.
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
Is there a tattoo on his head?
Yeah, there's a tattoo on his face. It says damaged.
But isn't that how he was in the comics for this period?
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm pretty sure Jared Leto's look.
Leto.
Is it
Leto?
Leto?
It's
No,
Jordan
stupid.
Catalano.
Yeah, that's how I figured it.
Jared Leto?
Jared
Catalano.
Leto.
That's how I know.
What kind of gas do you use? Unleaded? Fucking fool.
It's also okay.
Did your mother Lev?
Yes, she did. But I think in
Mom's gone. She leafed.
I think in the Suicide Squad comics,
You still don't have to do it. I mean,
I want to
still
see if it's
change
true.
it. You know, the
If
Joker.
it being true, I don't mind it as much because the comic book was.
It's such an emo tattoo.
It really duped me out.
I'm damaged.
Oh, yeah.
I'm damaged.
I think it's cool.
That probably was cool when they did it in the comic book. How long ago was the comic book drawn?
80 years ago.
80 years ago?
Yep.
And they thought they knew face tattoos were coming?
Yep.
That's amazing.
That's right. It's more recent.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know. I don't.
Just like
read-
Suicide Squad
Joker. He's got a lot of.
comic.
He looks like Frankenfurter.
Who, Jared Leto?
Yeah. A couple of those faces he's making.
It doesn't say damaged on his face in the
No, it
Suicide
doesn't.
Squad book.
You're right.
Did they just
They
add
did it.
that?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
they-
how fucking
It's cool. It's like a little
douchey.
creative licensing.
They wanted him to look like a cool, like, rapper guy.
But damn it. Whoa.
He's not damaged. He doesn't have silver teeth.
That's fucking humiliating.
He doesn't have any tattoos.
Damaged. Whoa.
It was a horrible, horrible decision. Yeah, he's got no tattoos.
How fucking cheesy. Wait a
No
minute, go back
chrome
up.
grill.
Oh, that's it right there.
Yeah, there's no tattoos.
On his, right, is that from the movie?
That's the movie. That's Jared Leto.
Oh, that's so shit.
Yeah, that's all the movie. Yeah, it was bad, man. It was bad.
What? That fucking tattoo damaged is
Shit.
so. That's corny.
It's terrible.
Oh, cornballs.
That sucks for poor Jared Leto.
Damage. He's a great actor.
He is. He's a really good actor. But you go
Should've
down the
played
line.
Joker with AIDS.
Yeah, that would have probably knocked it out of the park. But you go down the line, and all the other Jokers have been great. Jack Nicholson was great. Mark Hamill was
This
great as
town needs an enema.
fantastic. Mark Hamill was great as Joker's voice in the animated series. Obviously, Heath Ledger goes without saying.
He stunk.
Joaquin Phoenix was fantastic.
Was he better than Heath Ledger? No.
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but it was a very different movie.
Okay.
You know, because he spent more time out of the paint than he did in the paint in the movie. It's an origin story, and I know that you're always...
I don't mind this. I don't mind Origin. I'll see it. Everyone's saying it's good.
It is good.
Except, of course, the critics. I was on Rotten Tomatoes last night, which really is. I
think Rotten Tomatoes should be called Yesterday's Tomatoes, personally.
I don't disagree. I like that they show the critics and the audience. I like the fact that they're showing what the audience thinks, so you can say, this is who I want to listen to.
Yeah, so Joker...
68%.
Joker's 68% critics. What's the audience score?
It's like 90, yeah.
90% audience. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life, but it was probably... I'd probably give it like a 7.5 out of 10. It's a pretty good score, right?
Yeah, I'll see it.
I thought it was good. It was definitely good enough to go see.
It's
Definitely
an interesting movie.
And I would think that Joaquin Phoenix should get nominated for an Oscar for it. I don't know if he should win, but he should definitely get nominated. He's in almost every single scene in the movie. His laugh is fantastic.
I don't see them. Oh, that's right, because you said he was out of the paint and more.
He's out of the paint more. And what's great is his transition from just guy who lives with his mom into Joker.
Yeah.
I mean, watching his kind of character arc over the movie.
I'm just afraid I'm going to hate it.
Is really good because you're so attached to Heath Ledger.
Yeah, and I also am like, I know it. Whenever a movie is talked about like this, I see it and I'm like, ugh. Like I never love it the way I want to love it.
But it's nice that the critics hate it. That probably leaves you to believe that maybe you will like it. I mean, you also like Crash, so there's no accounting for taste.
But well, the Academy and I agree.
Yeah, so they also like The Green Book.
Yeah, they made some bad moves.
We all talked about how great Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was, and you watched that and loved it.
You loved that?
I did.
Yeah.
More than I expected to.
Yeah.
There's some good movies this year, man. A lot of times, as you head towards the Academy season, you're like, what are they going to, But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
I forgot about that, yeah.
The Irishman,
Yeah.
Joker.
Fanatic.
I think Fanatic should be nominated.
His hairdo.
Did you see Fanatic yet, Jim?
No.
Incredible. You're talking about Fred Durst, director / co-writer / story by.
I should see it.
John Travolta, the star. And John Travolta is in almost every scene in this the same way Joaquin Phoenix
that's great.
is for the Joker.
I bet you John Travolta thought this was his emotional deep dive movie.
He did. You know what his first line in the film is?
What?
Hey, I can't talk too long. I gotta go poo. That's a true story.
And Jim starts many of his conversations.
Yeah.
And end them.
He walks into a store.
That's how I start most sexual encounters. So wait, so he
walks
says poo because that makes him like crazy and deranged. Good writing.
Well, they don't quite establish what's going on with John Travolta at any point in the film.
Yeah.
He says
autism, maybe something like that.
Yeah, that's what it comes across as, but it comes across as a very weak understanding of autism. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's sort of, they kind of heard from a friend that this is kind of what happens. You know what it comes across to, how it came across to me? As a couple of guys, John Travolta and Fred Durst, who are afraid of their fans. Like it came across as a couple of guys who have a lot of contempt and fear for their fans.
And he's actually holding a real camera, not a phone.
Of course he is.
Because that makes him crazy.
His name's Moose. John Travolta in the film The Fanatic, which should be nominated, plays a character named Moose.
I even hate the way he's taking the selfie.
Terrible.
I hate it.
He's obsessed with an actor.
Of course.
I'm not going to give you any spoilers.
What's the actor's name in it?
Oh, I forget the actor's name. You're going to love it. Could you look up Troy?
I've heard it. I hated it.
It's awesome.
Oh, he even dresses crazy.
Of course he does. He wears a Hawaiian shirt with khaki shorts and his socks pulled all the way up.
To let you
Moose
know.
you're talking about. Yeah, Devon Sawa. Who does Devon Sawa play in The Fanatic?
Fucking someone sweet.
Devon Sawa. Oh, this is great. Sweet and Sawa?
No, Travis.
Yeah, I got it. I'm just writing a note.
Hunter Dunbar is the name of the actor.
I hate it.
Hunter Dunbar.
I hate that name.
Moose is obsessed with Hunter Dunbar.
Moose Hunter Dunbar.
Yeah. Wow. Hunter Dunbar is the name of the actor. And it's ironic because Moose is an obsessive fan, obsessed with an actor played by Devon Sawa. Devon Sawa played the obsessive fan in the music video for the song. We're playing the Jeff Goldblum movie game here.
The obsessive fan in the music video for the song. I don't know if I know the video.
Stan.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I ever saw the video.
Oh, yeah. And that's where the phrase Stan now comes from. Like everybody, these Twitter stands for this person, these Twitter stands for that person. It all comes from the song Stan. Moose is a Stan for the character played by the actor who played the original Stan in the music video for...
John Travolta?
No, Stan. Oh. I told you already. Why aren't you following me?
I just is so confusing.
It is. There's several degrees to Stan.
Yeah.
How did anybody put any trust in Fred Durst to make a movie?
Oh, should we bring him in?
We can break.
Yeah, take a quick
I didn't
break.
mean to like.
Yeah, we can take a break. And how did anybody put any faith in Fred Durst?
Why wouldn't you? You got to have faith.
I mean, what movies has he done?
Wait, he's not a.
Everyone's got to start somewhere, Troy.
He did chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water. That's a piece of art.
That's not a movie, though.
No, but it's a piece of art. That's how you could trust him as an artist. Because they go back and they go, well, if he can create the art of chocolate stardust and the hot dog flavored water.
Troy acts like, Scorsese and Tarantino have always been making movies.
No, at
But
one
they
point
didn't
they were
have
doing
one.
At one point they were doing rock rap.
All of them?
Yeah, of course.
That's so weird.
Of course they were. They just weren't as successful as the Biscuit.
No, I mean,
The
who is?
Biz Kit.
Yeah, the Biz Kid. Yeah, and Moose is obsessed with this actor, and then and we get to follow along on his journey. Although in the beginning of the film he has to poo. And then my favorite scene I think in the whole movie is when Moose goes to a Hollywood party. He goes to the bar, and of course because he's Moose, he's not all there upstairs. He asks for a strawberry milkshake.
Of course he does.
Because that's what he would do,
You're a
right?
crazy
That's
person.
It's great. Wow, he's
Yeah,
nuts.
sure.
Strawberry milkshake. What are you, out of your mind?
He
There's a
doesn't know
bar.
any better. This guy's dangerous.
Exactly.
All right, I'm going to be in the Stress Factory this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm sure tickets are selling decent. I don't know how the shows, I haven't asked, so just call if you want to go, 732-545-HA-HA.
That's right. You can go to jimnorton.com for all that stuff, and we will be back with Tito Ortiz. Stay right there.
We'll be back with more Jim Norton and Sam Roberts. This is what happened on the last Jim Norton and Sam Roberts show.
Have you ever thought of
I
expanding
thought he was gonna plug
on
something.
your name by having something like Steve Aoki karaoke bars?
Oh, my God.
Aoki karaoke.
That's
Good
the way
suggestion, Dennis.
That's the way
Yeah,
to
good
end it, Denny, after
suggestion.
a good touching story about...
How long have you been doing radio?
What's that, 30 years?
Nice.
Jim Norton and Sam Roberts. Live weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern. Faction Talk, Sirius XM 103.
It's Dave Matthews from the Dave Matthews Band.
This year,
He's one of those guys where he doesn't seem to be negatively affected by it at all.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him in a while, but he always seems...
I wonder if that's because he did more of the hitting than getting hit.
Some guys just...
Because, like, Chuck Liddell, last time he fought was with Tito Ortiz, and it seemed like Chuck should not have been fighting, right?
Yeah, but Chuck may not have kept himself in the consistent shape that Tito did.
I see.
I think Chuck had taken time off and stopped and then came back. I think Tito always kind of kept fighting.
Right.
No, I think Tito had been gone for a year or two before that Chuck fight.
Oh, did he come back to fight him?
Yeah.
I mean, he must have still been keeping himself in shape, though. Like, still training, still going to the
He
gym.
just loves to fucking fight, this guy, man. He loves it.
I mean, if you had the ability.
Yeah, but I mean, he's 44.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. He's got another fight December 7th in Texas. It's going to be live on pay-per-view. He's fighting Alberto El Patron.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah. He used to be a WWE guy, but he did MMA before he was in WWE. He wasn't like famous for MMA, but he did fight professionally. So it's not like he's just some pro wrestler guy who's coming in and trying to be an MMA fighter and going to get stomped on by Tito Ortiz. He's actually got some real fight experience.
Yeah, I still think he's going to get stomped on by Tito.
There's a very good possibility of that. Yeah, I mean, like you said, Tito's 44, but still in fighting shape.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
You see Dana White say he'd kick his ass in a boxing fight?
Tito?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've always had like an odd relationship.
Dana said if it was just, he said MMA, Tito would destroy him. But he said at one point they were going to do a boxing fight.
Yeah, a boxing match. You don't say a boxing fight.
You don't say that?
No.
Why not?
That's how a girl would say it.
Oh, I don't want to sound like that. Thanks for correcting
A
me.
boxing
then.
fight.
I don't want to sound... Okay, I won't say that then.
Yeah. I mean, boxing is a different...
Yeah. But do you still think that Dana White could embarrass... He said he would embarrass Tito Ortiz in a boxing
I honestly
match.
don't know how good of a boxer Dana is. He used to box.
Yeah.
I mean, a boxer against an MMA guy, it's a tough...
By boxing rules, though.
Of course, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you saw it, that's tough.
Yeah, we saw that's basically the same thing that happened with Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, right? Except those are the two best fighters in the world. And
Conor's not the best fighter in the world, but I mean, Floyd, certainly.
He's not the best MMA?
No. He's great. I mean, he's great, but he's not the best.
But he's not the best.
No, I don't think so.
Who do you think's the best?
It's different. It's hard to say. It depends on Khabib is better.
What about what's his name?
Tony
Adesanya.
Ferguson, I think, is better.
Israel.
Adesanya, yeah.
Adesanya.
I mean, he's much heavier.
You see the fight?
Yeah, of course.
He's great, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's going to fight a guy named Paulo Costa now,
Mhm.
I think, who's undefeated as well. And he's like a statue. That's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, it was a very entertaining fight on Saturday. I watched it.
Yeah, I felt bad for Robert Whittaker. I really like him. He took like 19 months off, though. He hadn't fought in a while.
I was impressed by him because he got like laid out at the end of that one round, and then he got back up because, luckily the round was over.
But if there was 5 seconds left of that round, he would have lost.
Yes, I agree with that.
Do you see the lights just go higher?
Oh, yeah.
Are they controlling them from the back?
I don't think so. I don't think we have that kind of technology here.
How can they just keep getting...
I don't know. I have no idea.
Hey,
Tito
Joe.
Ortiz just walked in.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, man? How are you?
Man. What's up, brother? Hey, man, good to see you.
You too.
How are you, man?
Doing good. Enjoying this 3-hour nap from New York. I was from L.A. to here.
You don't seem affected at all. Like a lot of guys who fight for a long time have a little... You don't seem like you've been affected at all negatively.
Yeah, we were just talking
fighting.
about how like you've been able to stay in fighter shape, and even now when you fight, look not... like you get to a point where you watch fighters that get older and you go, that guy should not be fighting anymore. But I've never felt that when I watch you fight.
Well, most of the guys get their ass kicked. It's a little different. I don't know. I brawl and I put on a show, but at the same time, I'm always the person in the dominant position on top. I'm not there to slug with the person. Until just recently against Chuck Liddell, I was willing to slug with him, and I put him out in the first round.
How did that feel? Because he had beaten you twice before that. And I mean, there was a personal thing between you guys. You're the same age, I think, right? So
he's 4 years older than me.
Okay, so you're in the same age group.
But generationally, like you were the two kind of iconic fighters and the two really first big stars in UFC, I think.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started my career back in 1997, I was an amateur at the time. I fought UFC 13 for free, and I never had any fights before. I never came from a fighter background. I came from a wrestling background in high school and college, collegiate wrestling, and I thought I'd just give it a try. Stopped my first guy in 22 seconds, UFC 13th, May 30th, 1997, and I was hooked.
How did it feel to finally beat Chuck?
God, let me tell you, man, it was a weight off my shoulders. And people said, oh, he's an old man, da, da, da. He's the one who called me out. I was like, Chuck, you don't want to do this. I'm telling you right now, you don't want to do this. And he kept talking to Smack, said he's going to knock me out. If I turn down the fight, then I look like I was afraid of the man. If I don't turn down the fight, I mean, it's a lose-lose situation. But when I got my hand raised, it was very, very gratifying, let me tell you.
Well, you guys have a history together. It's not like you're, a 25-year-old fighter calling out somebody who's in their 40s. I mean,
Right.
you guys, you fought already.
It looked like that during the fight, though, let me tell you. I was
Chuck-
fast. I was on point. It was like he punched, and I was like, slip, slip, slip. I mean, this is the first time in my career I actually was slipping punches. Working with Jason Perillo, and it was just one of those things that I didn't want to get punched. I didn't want to get touched, and so they start moving my head now. Before, I would use my arms, my forearms to block the punches, and my game plan has completely changed, and it's going to actually put longevity in my career.
Did you carry those losses with you? Sorry, those two losses. Like, is that one of those things that would weigh on you? Like
the Liddell losses?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was a lot of backstory behind that, with me and Chuck Liddell being friends, being the first team punishment. We trained with each other for a long time. We had our own management, and then Dana became our manager. There's a lot of conflict of interest, and if I told Chuck, man, if we're going to fight, let's make a lot of money off this. I mean, if we're going to put our friendship aside and, fight each other, let's make some millions. And he sold out. Our first time we competed against each other, we both made, I think, 150 grand. UFC made over $40 million.
Wow.
The second time we fought, and we made decent money. We made about, $2 million apiece, and they made $70 million. I don't know. I was pretty good at math. I was horrible at English, but I was pretty damn good at math. You put those numbers together like that, and I'm making 6% to 5% of the revenue of something I'm putting my life on the line for. It didn't make sense. And Chuck sold on our friendship because of money. Look at him now. He's not working for the UFC. They fired him. They threw him to the wolves, and he's fending for himself. And I told him exactly what was going to happen. Truths in the future and what happened. It's here now in front of us, man. Chuck don't have a job.
Did you know immediately, like, once that fight started and you were kind of seeing what Chuck was doing, did you know immediately, like, oh, this is not the same dude. This is going to be a lot easier than I thought it was?
Not until the open workout. We had the open workout, and he was hitting pads, and he looked like he still had the power, but he never was really super quick. He was just throwing punches in awkward positions from awkward angles, and he was still throwing those, but I was just working with so many young guys at the time, younger guys I was sparring with, that it changed. I started learning how to move my head, finally moving my head, finally getting out of the way and stepping away and just getting the distance right. And, I put in an 18-week camp, the longest camp I ever put in my career of 22 years. Same with this fight against Alberto Del Rio. I started about 10 weeks ago. We have another eight more weeks to go. I just kind of realized that I need to live into the fight world right now and really focus on my career.
Do you get crazy when you're not fighting? It's like you just love to fight. Like you probably don't need to if you don't want to.
I hate fighting.
You do?
I love to compete. I'm very, 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 very competitive. Very competitive in everything I do. I mean, literally walking to the door, I want to be the first one. No, everything, playing pool. I mean, fishing, everything. I want to.
Are you no fun to play a board game with?
I am no fun to play a board game with. I promise. Everything, scramble, everything.
It's not even the rules. That doesn't count what you just did. Like,
no, I get it. It's like, that's not even a word, Tito. I'm like, no, look it up. It is. Like, how would you figure that out?
Jackie Jr. from The Sopranos.
It's a word now.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. What do you do when you're not fighting? Like when you take some time off and you're like, all right, now do I retire? Like, what do you think when you think of retirement? Like for real, what do you think that you like? All right, this
I think
is
a
where I'll go.
65-year-old man that is gray and broken down and enjoying life with their family. That's a retired life. I'm 44 years young. I feel great. I feel better than I do when I was 34. No more injuries. No more just negative people around me. I've weeded out the negative people. Nothing but positive people around me. I got a good girl, a great woman, Amber Nicole Miller, who's
how'd you meet?
Actually, we met back in UFC 33. She was the first ring card girl through Zuffa, and a beautiful model, but a beautiful woman. I mean, beautiful all the way to the soul, to the heart, to the bone. I mean, this girl is not selfish at all. She is very caring. I can't talk enough about her because she's such a wonderful woman. She stepped up as a mother for my children, and we've been together now for 6 years, and I'm very, very thankful to have her in my life. She saved me. She saved my family. She saved the future for me. Like I say, I live in a happy zone at home where it's no problems. I'm not walking on eggshells at home. I don't have to worry about just horrible stuff happening in my house. My kids are taken care of. There's not people in and out of my home. It feels like a home when I walk into my house, and it's amazing.
Is there a thing with fighters and ring girl? Like, is there like with the NFL that's like you're not allowed to date cheerleaders? Do they say anything to you like, look, you're not allowed to date these girls, or they don't?
No, not at all. I always. It was kind of funny because when we first met, we were on different opposite sides of a relationship. She was in a relationship. I was married, and it was never that type of. Of course, when she walked around with the ring card, I was like, damn, that girl's fine. But I never went no further than that ever. But then when me and Jenna Jameson broke up, she actually came to my life because I was going through some hard times at the time. I had twin boys I was taking care of, and I was watching by myself for almost 8 months. And it was hard to take care of twin boys who are 4 years old, making sure they're in kindergarten. I mean, waking up for school every morning, making sure they're fed, and I had a nanny who helped me during probably about 4 hours out of the day, but that just wasn't enough. It was just hard. And I wanted to make sure that I had the right woman around my kids for their future. A little backstory for myself. My mother and father had a heroin problem, and I lived through that from the age of 6 to 13. When I was with Jenna Jameson, she had a pill problem, and I didn't want that same life for my kids' future. So I had to make a sacrifice. Either it was my future with her, or it's going to be the future of my children. And I had to make a stand. I had to make a statement, and I stood my ground, and I wasn't selfish anymore. I didn't think about myself anymore, and I thought about my kids' future. I don't want to have them live through the life that I lived through as a kid. And I put my foot down, and I said, either you get sober or we're not going to be together anymore. And she couldn't do it. And it's been 6, almost 7 years now that she's been gone. She has been around, nothing, tried to go through courts because she couldn't do what the courts asked her to do. And she's been gone. She lives in Hawaii now. She has a kid and married, and I don't know, she just kind of just left off the face of the earth.
She's very active on Twitter. Like she seems to have been, she's more conservative now, which maybe, some people find God and change whatever it was wrong.
Some people do. I mean, I don't have no contact with her at all. Like I say, my kids are my life. And if anybody who have children, they understand how much a love is for a child, and I did everything I possibly could to make sure my kids have a safe future. And I did that, and I'm doing it. And I don't know,
Do the kids ever ask about her? Like, do you have
No,
to?
they don't. I mean, she left when they were 4.5 years old, 4 years old.
Yeah.
And so they don't remember. They were always, the nannies are always taking care of them. You know, I was paying $20,000 a month in nannies because Jenna was sleeping until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. There was a lot of stuff that happened that I found out in court that it was just, she should have went to prison for the stuff she did. And I just was happy I walked away.
When your parents are like you're doing drugs when you're a kid, did they ever stop doing them? Did they ever get sober, or are they alive? Or
my mom got sober. Yes, mom got sober when I was 13. She got remarried, moved me back to Huntington Beach. I got a second chance at life. My father never did. He pretty much did exactly what Jenna did. And it took me a while to forgive him. It was just last year, actually just recently last year, that I went to see him for the first time in almost 14 years. And I kind of had to say my piece. You know, I had to forgive him because that's all he knew. He didn't know any better. He wasn't ever taught any better. And I had to man up, and cause I know he wasn't, so I had to man up, and I had to tell him, you know what, Dad, I understand how hard it is to be a parent. I understand how hard it is to be a father, and I forgive you. I love you. And that was the first time in almost 14 years I said I loved him, and it meant a lot to me, and it helped. It just helped exercise my demons.
Was he apologetic, or was
he really didn't get it? I don't think, just because he's done drugs for such a long time. I mean, he just turned 80 years old. I mean, and he's been using since he's been 30.
Wow.
And
so he's just fried.
Yeah, to a certain point, yes. I mean, he's coherent, of course, and he just was like, I walked in the door and he was like, "Wow, Tito, I thought you forgot about me." I go, "No, Dad, I just had to figure out what was going on, what the problems you were going through, and I understand it. I get it." And he had a smile on his face, and I took him out to lunch, and we sat down and we talked for a while, and it just helped. It helped my heart. It helped me feel there's a reason behind all these things. There's a reason why the things that I do. There's a reason why the things that makes me work so hard to give my kids everything I never had as a kid.
How old are you when you realize that drugs are the problem with your parents? Because at 6, I don't think you can fathom what heroin even is.
I was 11 years old.
And you go like, "Oh, this is why this has been like this for so long."
I was hiding their needles. I was hiding their needles, hiding their drugs. And
from them.
Like, oh, for sure. And I took an ass whipping one time because I guess I got a stash, and I took it and I threw it away, and they asked me, I had to give it, and it was tough. It was very tough. But it made me the man I am today. I mean, people say, "Would you ever take that back?" Not a second. I'm glad I went through that because I was able to learn, and I've been able to help other people who have gone through the same type of thing, knowing that you have a chance. You have a chance to change your life. You have a chance to change your family. You just got to be responsible for your actions, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, you got, when you were younger too, like you almost went down that path, right? Like you.
Yeah. I graduated from high school, and back in Huntington Beach, meth was a big thing, and I want to say addicted, but I was using with some friends, and it was just because of work. I mean, I was doing 16-hour shifts, and it was long days, and I kind of lost myself. I went to a club with one of my buddies one night, and I saw one of my old coaches, and he's seen me. He's like, "Tito?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "You doing all right, dude?" I go, "Yeah, I'm doing fine. What do you mean?" He's, "You don't look all right." I go, "What the hell are you talking about?" That night, I went back home, and I looked in the mirror, and I didn't recognize myself. I was,
but you don't even realize as it's happening.
You don't. I was 6'2", 185 pounds. I'm 6'2.5" right now, and I'm 235. So, I mean, there was a huge difference. Pimples on my face, big dark circles under my eyes. And he told me, he goes, "You ever thought about coming back to school?" And I go, "Yeah, I did. I just don't have any parents to take care of me. I'm kind of on my own." He goes, "Well, we could possibly get you financial aid." And that Monday morning, I walked into his office. He had a big smile on his face, and he says, "I think we could do this." Put myself through school, got my AA degree, won the state title twice in wrestling.
Did you stop using it at that point? Just stopped altogether?
I stopped at that point. I looked in the mirror, and it scared the shit out of me.
Are they testing you too when you're wrestling? Are there anything drug? Oh, they weren't.
No, they're not drug testing at all. But like I say, I think it was just that rock bottom point where I looked in the mirror, and I was turned into my dad. And if fear hit me, I was like, "Oh my God, this is something I want to do."
Yeah, and seeing that through your parents, like you saw the reality of it as a kid. So that it's not glamorized, it's not anything. So once you see it starting to take effect in you, you know immediately, I know what this is.
I know exactly what it was. And it was just, like I say, it was just a breaking point of me, of just realizing it and recognizing it and going, "Okay, I better take care of this situation right now before it's something I can't handle.
And then when you get married and you find, oh, my wife is doing something.
Well, I was never married. Me and Jenna.
Oh, you were
never,
okay,
we
but
were
when
never
you,
married. People always say that she was my wife. Me and Jenna were never married because I never trusted her.
But do you when you when you do that, are you like reliving childhood, like trying to make somebody not do something, trying to control it, like what they're doing?
Yeah, there was that point. I mean, the first time it happened was in 2012 that I recognized that there was big problems that came about. Drank champagne, did Xanax here and there. And it wasn't really serious, but I mean, after the kids were born, it kind of got a little serious with painkillers. She always said she had migraines, and so the doctor actually gave her was it Demerol for the migraines. And I told the doctor, I'm like, man, is this right? My kid's gonna come out okay? He goes, yeah, we're doing low enough doses, that's gonna be okay. Not realizing that it was actually injectables and she was doing over the amount that he was asking.
That's what I was going to ask. I mean, the dosage is low enough, but who's going to sit there and monitor to make sure that she's doing the dosage, right?
And it wasn't, she had her assistant going out getting it all the time, and it was just, I had no control of it at all. And I was going through fight camps at the time. I was fighting the UFC. At my top of my game. I was making big dollars. I was always up in Big Bear, California training.
But that requires complete focus on that.
Yes. And
yeah.
Every week, it would be Monday through Saturday would be my hard training camp. Saturday night, Sunday would be my time off. She would come up, and it was just, we would always fight. And one of my trainers would be like, Tito, man, every time she comes up here, she breaks you down, and Monday we got to start all over, build you back up. It was just like a domino effect. I get built up and I get broken down, built up, broken down. Then it was fight time. All the attention was on me, and she disliked that. She hated it, and she wanted to get all the attention. So she would do something extreme to get the attention.
Wait, before you would fight?
Before I would fight.
And
wow.
and it's like one of those things. Do you even see a pattern at this point, or you just like it's happening, but you don't even notice that? Hey, it's every time I fight.
I saw that pattern happen. I think it was in 2011, 2012, and I recognized it. And in 2011, before I fought Ryan Bader, we slept in the same home for 7 weeks, and never had any conversations. Taking care of the kids. I would wake up at 8 in the morning, actually 7 in the morning, feed them breakfast, get them ready for school, take them to school, drop them to school. I would come back and take a nap, wake up at 12, go to the gym until 3, come back at 3, pick them up from school. The nanny would come up for a couple hours. I go back to the gym. I would train until 8 o'clock at night, come home, cooking dinner, put them to bed, and I would hop on my Xbox and I'd play Modern Warfare. I'd get away until midnight, and then every day. That's exactly how it was. I never had a conversation with her. We slept in the same bed for 8 weeks. I go to the fight for Ryan Bader, and I'm walking around the house. She's like, please talk to me. Please talk to me. And I was like, listen, let me do this fight, and I'll talk to you. I just had to get away from the negativity, and I did. I won the fight, got my hand raised. Ryan Bader was undefeated at the time. He was a 4-1 favorite, and I stopped him in the first round. And it was just one of those things. I got my life straight, and I realized this is my poison. I need to get away from it.
Yeah.
This is very, very toxic relationship. And I did. After that fight was over, I went through another fight. I started talking to Amber at the time, and I just got to a point where it was just, I didn't want this in my life anymore. And couldn't be selfish for myself and think about myself. I had to think about my kid's future, and I did that. And
how amazing is it when you get into a new relationship, right? And because you come from, when you're in a toxic relationship, you don't know.
Toxic times like a million.
Right.
I would never wish this upon my worst enemy type of toxicity, like horrible.
But you don't know exactly how bad it is until the very end. Like, you don't know what you've been living in, right? And so, like, when you get into a relationship that's healthy and you get into arguments or whatever.
They're really not arguments anymore.
Right. It just feels like nothing, right?
Yeah, it's crazy because it's funny because one of my close friends, my assistant actually who's here with me now, Freddie, who's been my buddy, since 2005. We've known each other since kids. And he told me, he's like, Tito, man, I'm telling you, this is not good for you. I'm like, shut up, dude. I can fix this. And I was on Howard Stern when we first got together. And he's like, what the hell are you doing, man? I go, shut up, Howard. I know what I'm doing. I'll be able to fix it.
That's you being competitive.
Me being competitive, man. And I grinded it out. And, after we got our separation, we had to go to my therapy, and I had to talk to a therapist. And I talked to him for a good 6 months and come to realize, like, Tito, stop trying to save your mom. And it hit me in the heart. It hit me so hard. I was just like, wow, I get it. I get it. And
was it tough for you to go into therapy, somebody who's like so hyper competitive and an athlete like you to admit that there's something wrong here, there's a weakness, and this needs to be fixed by a professional?
Not really. I think I was looking for the help.
Yeah.
I was really, really looking for the help. Because you understand, I mean, I'm very competitive. I'm not a fighter. I'm an Aquarius to a T. I'm very loving. I try to help my friends around me. I'm always going out of my way to make sure my people are in comfortable positions. But when I got to that point, it was just, I was looking for help. And when he was telling me the reasons, I mean, because I took psychology when I was in college, so I understand the theories and the ideas behind people's minds, the things you go through as a child and everything. So I was always wanting to look for questions of why I'm acting like this, why I'm responding like this. And he gave me those questions. He gave me those answers that I was always looking for. And it was a lot of tear-jerking moments, but at the same time, I'm human. I've had feelings, and I'm not just a big brawl fighter who kicks people's asses for a living. No, I'm a businessman who saw a business opportunity and a very competitive person, and I made millions upon it. And I'm thankful. And I look back now that I've been through the coals. I've been raked over the coals. My name's been raked over through the coals.
How hard is that when it's public?
That's the hard thing, because there were so many lies that just happened. It was just, I had to own all of it. I had to just let the proof prevail. The truth will always set you free, and it did. It took a little bit of time. It hindered my name a lot of times when I was with her, and from being with her, I lost a lot of sponsorships. But everything comes back full circle. I have an opportunity now. I'm making a huge sponsorship that I can't say yet because we're in the midst of signing the deal. Biggest sponsorship I ever had in my life, and I'm very thankful for it. But it just shows that the hard work pays off. People see the true person I truly am, and I live a very transparent life, a very open book, because of the things that go through. I want to make sure that there's people in our world that understand that when there's hard times, you can get through them, because I've been through them.
Is there anything worse than when you're in a relationship and you're arguing about something, whatever it is, and you're like, you make your point, and then the person you're with comes back with something that has nothing, and you're like, who the fuck am I? Am I in the same room?
Right,
Like, this is why I said to her, this is why people don't get married, because this is like, you hear this shit in court, and it's like, I'm with you, and I could see this is how it would be played out. And this is not at all what's happening.
Like, you realize this is a never-ending loop we're in right now. You're just trying to keep us fighting. We're not even talking about this anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's a lot of situations I had was like that, and it was just her reflecting her own self onto me.
And you'd be distracted during camp sometimes, thinking about the fights or whatever.
Of her using pills in my house. I mean, and having people over my house, transvestites over my house. I mean, and I'm not racist towards anyone at all, but it's just having my children around that environment is not good, and it was affecting my kids. I mean, it was really, really gnarly. Stuff I found out in court, I was just like going, "Are you kidding me right now?" And I'm looking at the judge. I'm like, "How are you letting this woman even stand here? She'd be in handcuffs right now." But they gave me full custody. I have full custody of those children. They gave her a bunch of things she needed to follow through to have a chance to see them, and she never followed through with one thing at all. And it's behind me now. And
so when a therapist tells you stop trying to save your mom,
yep,
and that sinks in, and you go, "Holy shit," are you able to let that part of you go?
Yes,
you are.
Yeah, it was. It helped a lot.
Yeah,
I kind of just, it was like a smack in the face. It was like Freddie telling me, "Tito, man, you're in a bad place right now. You need to see this." And I did. And it was like, all of a sudden, it was like, boom. And I was like, okay, I need to get my stuff straight. And I did. And I have. And it's great. I mean, I got to understand, at that point in 2012, when I left her and I left UFC, I had everything I've always dreamt of as a kid. I had a Rolls-Royce Phantom. I lived on the water in Huntington Harbor. I had a 38-foot fountain boat with twin 300s behind my house on its own dock, on my own dock. I had a Panamera Porsche. I had another home that my mother, I gave her for Christmas. I had everything as a kid that I've always wanted, because I dreamt about these things. And yes, it's just material things, but as a kid who had nothing at all and came from nothing and was able to work my butt off to make that happen, I was living in paradise. I was living that white picket fence as I went with a family, with kids, and I had a chance of losing it, and I didn't want to lose it. And I told Jenna, we're going to lose everything. You can't let this happen. And she didn't care. She didn't care. I mean, she had $8 million that she blew through in 5 years.
Wow.
$8 million in 5 years. And I kept telling her, well, she'd go out on $30,000 shopping sprees. And I'd go, what are you going to do when you don't have any money? She's like, shut up. Stop telling me how to spend my money. And I'm thinking about the future. My kids are going to school, going to college, taking care of them. And I've always thought like that. I've always put money away. And
yeah, when did you become a business person? Like when did you see? Because you start in the UFC, you're fighting for free. This is like a brand new thing at this point. No, people aren't making millions of dollars fighting in the UFC. So, at what point did you start using your business brain?
I think I had it as a kid though, because I mean, when I was younger and I used to get away from my parents, I'd go fish on Newport Pier and I'd sell bonita, which is a type of a tuna, and I would sell it to the people there for $2 a fish, and I'd get their phone number down and I'd call them as soon as the fish would start running, and they'd come up and buy all the fish from me. So I had the little hustle of selling.
Sounds like a mailing list with your phone, just calling people.
No, literally, I would go to the payphone, I put in the 2 dimes and make the phone call. But I had that hustle, and when I started my clothing company, Punishment Athletics, in 1999, which is my clothing company I still have at punishment.com, I would go out in each and every event, and I would sell shirts myself. And I would make $20 a shirt, and I would kill it. I'd do $3,000 every show until Dana all of a sudden said, "You can't do that anymore." And I was like, "All right, well, when are you going to start paying us a little more money?" And then I was back up a little bit. When Dana was my manager, was it Bob Meyerowitz, who was the owner of UFC? Dana was on him with the phone, and I was the champion at the time. And this before the Fertittas bought the company. And Dana told Bob Meyerowitz, "Tito Ortiz deserves this amount of money. If not, we're walking," and hung the phone up. And I remember looking at Dana going, "Man, are you sure? Are you sure you don't doing the right thing?" He's all, "I don't know. We'll see." Damn, let alone an hour and a half later, Bob Myers calls back and says, "Okay, we got a deal."
Wow.
And then, I was making, at that time, it was 50 and 50 thousand for the fight. And I was the champ, and I thought that was great money. And then he became president, he put me down underneath one of his friends who was an attorney as my manager. There's a huge conflict of interest in there. And I always said, all right, these guys are starting to make money now. Why don't you start asking them a little more money? And they're like, "No, man, you don't want to ruffle their feathers." I'm like, "What do you mean ruffle their feathers?"
You watched how this worked.
Yeah. It was just, and that's when the business sense started coming. I was like, all right, this is not for my best interest. Went on my own, did my own thing.
What's the most money that you made for a single fight?
I'd have to say probably about $3.2 million for one fight. That was against Liddell.
Well,
after the second
Liddell fight, yeah.
And then, like I said, they made $70 million on that fight.
Do you think that you and do you and Dana have any relationship now, or is that one of those things where?
Well, there's 30 for 30 that's coming out October 15th. I'm actually going to the premiere on this coming Thursday, and I thought they were going to be able to put the line right down the middle where it was neutral, and then I guess there was 19 edits that Dana had to go over and redo it and redo it and redo it. So now it's like 10 to 90% to Dana and Chuck, and only 10% for me. And once again, it's like another Bad Blood video that's coming out.
Have you seen the final cut?
I haven't seen the final cut. I've seen the first cut they did, and it was even worse than the final cut. I hope probably. I literally had to warn them. I was like, "You guys can be getting a cease and desist, or you guys put that out like that, because that is just complete assassination of my character. You guys cannot do that." There were so many lies and so many things that just made me look bad, and I was just like, "You guys can't do that." And they were bummed. They're like, "Well, Dana had complete control over it," and I was just like, how can a guy have control of you guys? How do you lose? You lose an integrity of the film. You lose integrity of yourself.
Did you know Dana was going to have control when you agreed to do it?
Not when I agreed to do it. I found it out after I knew how to do it. If I would have known he had control the whole time, I would have never done it.
Because now it's just a UFC project. It's not a.
It was a UFC project. Yeah. And I would have never done it. I would have never done it at all. What was supposed to happen was Chuck told the truth, said how they fired him. He was supposed to have this contract for the rest of his life where he's going to get paid. That he got fired, and all of a sudden he has to pay for his own surgeries. He has to pay for his own stuff, and they're not helping him at all. How we're getting paid as fighters, how we're supposed to come together as fighters is for a union, and how UFC is not paying the fighters the right way, and all that stuff got cut out. There's so much stuff that got cut out.
Is there anything you look at too, Tito, when you look back at the whole thing with Dana, with Chuck, or any of that stuff, where you look at it and go, will you look at your own thing, man, I should have done this better? Like, is there anything you look at, like, where you definitely screwed up and said, you know what, this I should have done a lot, I should have been better at?
Yeah, God, I don't know how long we have. The very first thing is the gloves. They had the MMA gloves. The Juano became a UFC glove. I gave the first prototype of the glove to Dana. And I said, this is the glove you guys need to make for us to fight in. They made it. All of a sudden, a company called Guano came about, and I got thrown out the door. I was like, what the hell just happened right now? And I couldn't do nothing about it at all. They made the glove upon me, on my name, or what I thought it was.
You're like William H. Macy and Fargo going, well, no, it's my deal. It's my glove.
No, I mean stuff like not mistakes like that.
Like business stuff. Or,
no,
or like
no,
you
no,
were
like where you were at fault. Like in relationships.
Oh, that was at fault.
Like in relationships, my relationships have all collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I'm not at fault, but I also cheated. Like I was also shitty. Like there's been times where I was just shitty. So I'm saying, is there anything that you did that you're like, fuck, I was really shitty when I did it?
With Dana, you mean?
Or any of them? Yeah.
Probably just one. I think wearing a T-shirt that says "Dana's my bitch." I think that was probably the worst thing I've ever done.
It's bad for relations with the boss. Probably
yeah,
not that great.
Yeah. I don't think there's any other person that worked for a company that would wear a shirt like that. I probably should not have done that. But at the time, I was in a bad place. I was listening to the wrong people. But everything else, no. I stood my ground. I mean, I have integrity for myself. At the night, there ain't a big hoorah, a bunch of people around me. I don't have a big squad that rolls with me. I have 1-2 people with me, and that's how I've always been. I'm very low pro. I'm down to earth. I know I treat people the way I want to be treated, but at the end of the day, when I look in the mirror and brush my teeth, I'm by myself, and I got to have integrity and respect for myself, and I've done this through my career.
And you're fighting too. We want to promote why you're here.
Yeah.
Is you are fighting Alberto El Patron? Is that how you say his name, or Patron?
Patron.
El Patron.
El Patron. Okay.
El Patron.
And he was a WWE guy, but he fought MMA first.
Yeah, he has a record actually of 9-5. He's fought in Pride. I know he's fought in Japan a bunch of times. Former Greco-Roman medalist. He got some background. I've watched some of his training stuff, and thank you, Combat to America. I appreciate it. Yes. I gotta say thanks to Alberto for actually having enough balls to step up, and I wish he was in here because they give him a standing ovation. This guy has some courage. This guy's a lion. I got to give him the respect, and I'm giving the respect because I started my camp, like I say, 10 weeks ago. I mean, I've been putting in the work. I'm not out, having fun doing the hoopla.
You're training.
I'm training my butt off, man. This is my life. This is what I do, and this is what I love.
What do you think the chances are that you will not win this fight?
There's always a chance. I'm not going to be like, there's no chance. In my mind, there's no chance. In his mind, I think he has a chance. I don't think he has a chance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't view any loss at all. I don't view him touching me. I'm going to punch him in his face. I'm going to smash him. That's the way I train. That's the way I am. That's my mindset. I'm like an animal when I step in the cage. That's how I've always been. I mean, I put my heart and soul in the gym. I'm putting in, anywhere from 6 to 8 hour days, 6 days a week. This is my life, my name, my legacy. This is what I've lived for almost 22 years now, and I'm still doing it. The surgeries I've had, athletes don't compete, and I'm still competing. And it's not even the factor of competing against another man, is I'm training and I'm doing the things that I've done since I've been 22 years old. And I'm 44 now. And I'm there. I'm on point. Everything's great.
Tickets are on sale Friday, by the way, October the 11th, 10 a.m. At Ticketmaster.com if you want to go. And obviously will be a pay-per-view event on Saturday, December the 7th. It's from the Payne Arena at the U.S.-Mexico border in Hidalgo,
Smack
Texas.
dab on the border. So this is one of those things that Alberto Del Rio don't believe in borders. I'm totally on the opposite side. I'm pro-Trump. I'm,
Oh, you are?
Oh, 100%.
Is it for tax reasons or for immigration or both?
It's for immigration. It's for safety of our country. It's for the protection for our military. Finally, someone's out looking for the people of our country, and I believe in Donald. I worked for Donald Trump back in 2005 on The Celebrity Apprentice.
All right.
He's an honest man. He's a great man. He's a very smart businessman. He's not a politician, and I think that's why people don't like him, because he's not a politician. He's looking for our country, and this country needs a business-savvy person. He is that man. And
so you're working heel for this fight, then?
Is that what it's called? Being an American is a heel?
Not to me.
Well, I guess all the people in Hollywood who are just too afraid to speak up. I'm Well, if I have to be the heel and to support our president, then I'll be the heel to support our president.
It is funny too. Like,
I'm an American at the end of the day when I go to bed. I want my kids to have safety in this country, and that's what's number one to me.
it is funny how if you wear a MAGA hat or if you say anything supportive about the president, like it's never been like that in history. Where like if you support Bush, people were like, he's a Republican. But if you support Trump, people somehow act like you're a criminal, or like, how the fuck, like they just can't get over the fact.
Evil.
It's a really crazy perception.
I don't get it. It seems like people, they want to help everybody else but the country. And I watched the debate, the Democratic debate, and they were talking about other countries and other people and how we need to take care of them. It's like, what about us here in America? Do you know how many veterans are homeless who have health issues and mental health issues? How many people have mental health issues who are Americans? Why don't we take care of our people first? That's what should be number one. And Trump is doing that. Trump is trying to do that, but he just keeps getting sideswiped by so many different stupid things that are just fabricated, fake news.
Do you think the press is fair to him?
No. Now, you see, here's another thing too. So I'm not a person who sits there and goes, I'm just going to watch Fox News all the time. No, I watch CNN. I watch all these other media outlets, and it is propaganda. I watch it and just like, how can you guys say some of these things? I'm baffled by it. I mean, are people that uneducated to really understand that? I mean, I believe on facts. I want to see facts. I want to see it in black and white. I want to see the proof of things, not what someone said of hearsay. That's BS. That's high school shit. I mean, why do that? Let's go by what the facts are, what the proof is, and what he's doing for our economy. That's important. What he's doing for our people, that's important. And finally, there's a president that's not selling our country out to the highest bidder. I'm thankful for that.
So when you had kids, I guess it changed the way you look at everything, right? Because politics.
I was never a politics person. I never even cared about it. I never even cared. I mean, I still pay 55% of my taxes to the country.
Oof.
I paid a big lump sum over my 20-year career, 22-year career, where I look as like, where my money going? And all of a sudden they're writing, it's like, was it $4 billion to Iran or something like that? I mean, just these numbers that were just over, and I was just in awe from it. I'm like, okay, I got to start paying attention to this stuff and seeing what is really happening.
Where's all my money going?
Yeah, for the first time in my life, I actually voted. I voted for Donald Trump.
That was the first time you'd ever voted?
The first time I've ever voted.
How did it feel going in for the first? I mean, I've only voted twice, so.
Really?
Yeah. But I mean, how did it feel going in? Did it feel anything?
It made me feel proud. It made me feel like I was standing for our country. I'm a huge supporter of the troops. I've been to Iraq 6 times. I've been to Walter Reed and Bethesda about 7. I've probably visited over 30 bases across the United States, Japan, Germany, Iraq. I ran from the Kuwait border all the way to the Turkish border. Each time I've gone, I visit about 19 FOBs. So I'm a huge supporter of our troops, and I just watch the things they go through, and hopefully Trump will bring them out.
When you go to the bases too overseas, you just hang out. It's like meet and greets, and you just talk to people, and
Yeah, I have huge turnouts when I go, because I guess they get to watch it on was it FSN or FNS?
The network, the Forces Network, yeah,
the Force Network, and they all watch my fights, and they see me come walking out with the American flag, and it's pretty cool. It's just the exception or the acceptance I get from the fans or from the troops is just amazing. There are 2,500 people of troops like waiting in line to come get an autograph and talk with me,
and they're so happy you showed up. They're just happy that you're there, and they're always
the best
gracious.
thing is like when I'm able to sit down with the whole squad of guys. There's 200 or 300 guys and girls, and I'm able to have a conversation with them, talking about teamwork, talking about how battling, what it's like back at home right now, how do they feel, and for that 30 minutes or that hour I'm with them, they feel like they're at home. They don't realize they're in the sandbox, and they're just like, I talked to some of the colonels, and they pulled me aside. They're like, Tito, thank you for coming. That was amazing. These guys and girls, they love it, man. They want to feel like to be home and kind of boost them morale a little bit. And I think that's really important. And I think a lot of that is lost when they come back home. They kind of feel like there's not nothing to really be accepted to. They fought for nothing, they feel like, and seeing people burning flags and stomping on flags, and it's just, it's pretty sad right now. It's a country that I think needs to come together, and, this fight against Alberto Del Rio, him being from Mexico and now he's an American citizen, me being an American citizen born and raised in California. I think we're battling for something a little bigger than just a fight. I think we're battling for the future of our country, I think.
Well,
I
you
love
really
that.
look well. I mean, and you sound great. Like you're literally one of the most unaffected by fighting fighters I've ever talked to.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I've talked to a lot of fighters, and I mean, a lot of them sound great, but you sound exactly the same as you did 10 years ago, which is really good.
I feel
for
the
you.
same I did 10 years. Actually, I feel better than I did 10 years ago.
Awesome,
And tickets are on sale this Friday. Again, $30 if you're down there in Hidalgo, Texas, and it's on December the 7th. And Friday, October 11th, 10 a.m. And you can also get it on pay-per-view. You're fighting Alberto El Patron on December the 7th. Good luck, man. I'm really happy to see you
thank
so well.
And of course, of all the listeners, you guys can go to my Instagram. It's Tito Ortiz 1999. There's a link on there for my YouTube. I just started my YouTube about a month ago. I'm doing it every week. We're doing new content each and all the time. People get to see my family. They kind of see how I live my life, my training, everything I put into. It's something that just me and one of my friends, Chris Martinez, we've been busting out, we're producing and making happen for the fans. It's super, super important. Of course, it's on Instagram at Tito Ortiz 1999.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Tito.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys, man.
Back shortly with Corey Feldman.
Yeah, man.
We'll be back with more Jim Norton and Sam Roberts.
Today. I don't think Tito Ortiz was happy when I said he was working heel.
But I mean, I knew what you were saying. Was
Yeah.
that if that's going to be the perception.
I
yeah.
mean, if you're going to the Mexico-America border to save the country by beating up a Mexican guy, I would say
citizen?
that's
A U.S. citizen?
who's a citizen. Yeah, I would say that's working heel. You know.
Well, if being American is a heel?
No, yeah, I guess so.
Guess I am.
Yeah, okay, all right, yeah, that's what I
I
meant.
thought that was a fair response.
He's pissed.
he thought Sam was. Yeah, I know what he
Did
thought.
you hear me too? I was like, no, I don't think so. Nope, they do, not me. No.
At first, I didn't think he knew what heel meant.
Of course he does.
He has to.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, he paused for so long
It's like what?
that I was like, oh, he must not.
I felt
know
he
that
should have
term.
answered that by taking that fucking meat hand
Yeah,
and putting it in Sam's chin.
I would have been fine with that.
His hands are giant. He's a big dude, man.
he's a big guy. I put my hand on his shoulder when we took a photo together. What a shoulder!
But can you imagine a guy like that being mad at you?
I would
and
hate
throw
that.
you against that. That would suck.
Yeah,
He was mad at Sam.
he was mad at me for a sec. That's why I was like,
But
no.
he couldn't hit Sam.
It'd be great if he did, though.
I'd be co-hosting with Tito every day.
I think
he threw Sam against the wall and put him in the hospital.
I think Tito could probably convince me to put a MAGA hat on. I think he has that ability. Well, Tito, I mean, I normally wouldn't. Okay, for you, Tito. Yeah, I mean, for you, we're friends. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. I'll do it. No problem. I will watch that fight, though.
I will too. I mean,
Alberto's a big guy.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's strong.
Yeah.
But Tito's just a fucking animal.
I mean, yeah, this is
he's
what
an
Tito.
animal.
This is what Tito does. I mean, I know Alberto's got a little bit of MMA experience, but Tito's one of the best of all time.
And he sounds great. Like when you hear him talk, like there's other guys, fighters like Bernard Hopkins, who's literally sounded they just fucking stepped out of a fucking a business situation. Like they couldn't think of a good place to step out, but they don't sound like fighters. They just because there's been almost no effect on their mind. Like
Yeah.
when you hear these guys talk, it's like, well, how have you fought for so many years and been in so many fights and not had the effect that fighters get?
Right.
Where they talk a little slow. They have that thing going.
Yeah. Al in Maine, what's going on?
Hi, good morning, guys.
Your name is Al and you're a girl?
Well, it's Allery, but
Allery.
Oh, it's kind of like Mallory, but awful.
I don't know.
What a bummer of a name to grow up with, Allery.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Hope your last
No
name is
idea.
Bundy.
Allery.
Oh, God.
Or
No.
Holick.
Karen is her middle name.
Oh, no.
Your parents did you a great disservice.
All right, so what's up, Allery?
Allery.
Well, I wanted to know your opinion on the Diaz brothers as far as fighters go. And how is your tongue bleeding, Sam? Because you definitely held back a lot on Trump when Tito Ortiz was talking about.
Well, I thought
got into that.
That is true. Letterman Sammy really backed up.
Tito sounded like he had done his homework. I figured I thought he seemed knowledgeable. I figured I'd go, yeah, you're right. Trump is bringing people together.
And I like the Diaz brothers. I respect the Diaz brothers. I mean, they're both very tough guys, and it's amazing. They sell tickets.
I like the one who's like, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Yeah. Nate.
Yeah, they're definitely. I don't know. Between them and McGregor, I'd say the Diaz brothers definitely have McGregor beat for sure.
I mean, there's two of them and there's one of him, and
Yeah, 2-on-1, and they could definitely beat him.
yeah, but they all kind of they're all a little different. I mean, the Diaz brothers are not easy.
But aren't we all different as humans, Jim?
That's a damn valid point.
You know,
I was
aren't
worried
we
you were
all-
going to say something irritating, but you hit
We're all unique and special.
You moved me.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Allery.
Yes, of course.
It's very good to hear from you, Allery. Well, why would you do that to a kid? Why would you go like, oh, you thought of a name? Yeah, we're going to go with Allery.
I wonder if her dad's name is Al, or there's got to be some kind of
Like, when we just both times we had a kid, Jess would like be like, "What do you think of this name?" And I'd sit there and I'd go like, "Well, you can't pick that name because people will make fun of him."
You know who Allery never got along with?
Oh,
Sudafed.
Move on to something else.
Why you gotta be such a bitch?
Yep. One thing I'll say this about Allery.
Yeah.
Cause she got a great ass.
It's the only thing that could help her, isn't it? You know, we were talking about the Joker before Tito Ortiz got here, and I was surprised. I went over to Comic-Con on Saturday
How
here
was
in New York.
Comical Cons?
It was what it always is. It was just very, very crowded and cosplayers, and, you know, I went around and looked at some stuff that was coming out, said hello to a few people that were there signing and whatnot, and, you know, and went about my business. I was only home for a day, but there weren't as many Jokers as I thought. And the Jokers that I did see, I feel like they were still doing Heath Ledger Joker. I didn't see any Joaquin Phoenix Joker costumes.
I mean, that's the standard Joker.
Heath Ledger Joker?
At this point, yeah. Especially with the crowd that goes to Comic-Con.
Yeah.
But you would
That
think
generation.
as horribly, dangerously influential as the Joker movie is, that it's convincing people to go out and actually become the Joker,
well,
that it would at least motivate cosplayers, and it looks like it did not.
No, also, there's not a lot of incels at Comic-Con.
No?
No, it's a lot of people just getting their fuck on 24/7.
You know, I tell you, cosplayers that like to fuck love Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah.
There is a sexual energy about Comic-Con, especially...
They dressed in those little sexy outfits.
Oh,
Of
yeah.
course, little heinies hanging out.
You know what I saw a lot of, by the way?
What'd you see?
Which was great for this type of person? A lot of fat Thors for Endgame.
It's perfect. Perfect.
A fat Thor.
You know how
Just
many
Thor
fat...
in Endgame is fat.
You know how many fat cosplayers were watching Endgame
Dude.
going like, oh my
What do you mean he's fat?
God. Well, it's actually probably the funniest thing in the whole... I think maybe the best thing in the Endgame movie.
Chris Hemsworth is...
He's incredible
awesome.
in it. So they have to find Thor to defeat the evil Thanos. And Thor is depressed.
Because this is years after Infinity War.
Yes, it's 5 years later, and so Thor is bummed with himself, and he goes off and he lives on the island that he lives on, or wherever he lives in the Greek mythology, but he's been sitting at home eating chips, drinking beer, and playing video games the entire time. So now instead of being all buff, Thor is fat and has a big beard. He looks like a fat version of the dude in Lebowski.
Yeah.
And so for the whole movie, he's fat. And then when he, gets his magic hammer and he goes from just a fat guy to being the actual Thor, he's still fat. Like he's cleaned up and his hair now looks like, impressive and he looks like, okay, he's ready to fight the evildoers, but he's still got a big fat Thor costume on. He's still a fat guy.
Oh.
So yeah, all the fat guys at Comic-Con got to dress as Thor.
A lot of fat Thor. Okay.
I think that's a great costume. But yeah, if you
I
go
thought
to
that was a nice little opportunity.
If you go to San Diego Comic-Con and they have well, we did.
I mean, after that.
Yeah. But they have and we went to some of them. I remember because you stuck me with some of the cosplay dancers. But they have like parties all over the place at nighttime. And like, man, all those cosplayers come out and it's like it's time to fucking costume at that point.
Hey, can we grab Allery to wrap this question up? She called back. Thank you.
Oh,
Allery.
good.
I want an answer to this.
Allery's back. What's up, Allery?
So, my dad...
Did you say Mallory? No. Allery.
Allery, like calorie without the C, guys.
Oh.
Well, it depends on how you're acting.
That's right.
No, so my parents came up with my name based on my dad dated a girl named Allery.
Oh.
So.
And your mom went for that?
That's even worse.
I know, it's crazy, right?
So your dad was like, your parents were like, let's think of a name that's going to get her made fun of, and that's we'll name her after the girl that dad fucked before mom.
Yep, basically.
Wow. I mean, there's a lot of damage already. You came out of the womb horribly damaged.
Yeah,
Allery.
what is your mom's name?
Cheryl.
Cheryl.
That's such a better name.
Yeah, much
better name.
Although Allery is more memorable. If a year later we hear, remember Allery?
You bet Allery's more memorable, or dad wanted to name her after her.
That's true. Yeah, what do you think it was that made, did your dad ever tell you, like, was your mom more of a traditional girl and his girlfriend Allery did things like put him on his belly and perform analingus?
That's right. Old Allery never minded ass to mouth.
You know, I really have no idea, but they stuck me with 3 middle names too, so they're just really going for it.
Wait, what's your full name? I mean, you don't have to
Not
tell us
your
your
last
last
name,
name,
yeah.
but what's your series of names?
Allery, Margaret, Elizabeth, Lee.
Now, do you have
And
aunts?
then there's another name after that?
Yeah, there's a last name too.
Oh my!
Were they all girls your dad fucked?
No.
That's her dad's
Margaret's
list.
My grandmother, Elizabeth is my aunt, and Lee is actually my grandfather.
So, did you like have to? Did you have hippie parents?
My dad's a little bit of a hippie. My mom just really liked the name Allery and like.
So you have all those names. Wow. You have so many names.
Oh.
You could choose from any of them, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to stick with Allery. You could call yourself Margaret or any of those other names. Sure. People go by their middle name all
Madge.
the time. And you go with Allery still, huh?
But Margaret is just it's old-fashioned, and there's so many Elizabeths, and I mean,
No, that's
Lee
true.
is just as bad as Al, so.
That'd just be Allie.
Might as well stick.
Al.
Oh, no, God, no. That was the one stipulation my dad had was, okay, we can name her Allery, but we cannot call her Allie.
What do you mean we can name her Allery? Whose idea was it to name you Allery?
My mom.
Wow. Oh, she's like a cuck.
Yeah.
She's a name cuck.
She is a name cuck for sure.
All right, Allery, thank
Although,
you. It's very interesting.
on Step by Step, the tomboy daughter was Al, and she was hot.
Hey.
So Al can, if you're hot and you're fun, Al can be a great name.
Are you hot and fun?
I am hot and fun,
How
What's
old
up,
are
Al?
you know?
How old a gal are you?
Oh, I'm 30.
Married, kids?
I have a boyfriend, actually. We both listen to your show religiously. So.
Now, are you going to name your daughter after you?
God, no. I would not put her through that.
Are you going to name your daughter after the girl that your boyfriend used to fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, no. They all have boring names.
I'm Allery. This is my daughter, LaQuisha.
Okay, thank you very much, Allery.
Thank you.
Have a good day, guys.
All right,
Appreciate it. Yeah.
She's very fun.
She is. I like Allery.
Carlos in New Jersey says you're pronouncing something wrong, and I don't know what you are pronouncing wrong.
What's up, Carlos?
It's not what you're pronouncing wrong. It's just you're trying to be fucking cute with Joaquin Phoenix.
What do you mean?
It's not funny. It's not funny. It's just as dumb as Rob's golf videos. It's stop doing it.
And those are really dumb.
That's the actor's name.
It's Joaquin, not Joaquin.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Just leave the jokes to Jim.
That's it. I mean,
I don't like all that pressure, Carlos.
Yeah, and I wouldn't make fun of that guy by saying his name is a joke. His name's Joaquin.
Not funny. Dumb.
I don't understand.
Carlos is right.
Yeah.
Right, Troy?
That's right.
What's
so
dumber?
dumb.
The
So
way
dumb,
Sam
right?
pronounced it or his fucking golf videos?
I mean, they're both really bad.
I appreciate it,
Exactly.
Carlos.
See.
What a dick, right, Carlos?
Fuck, man. You're not funny.
No, you're right. I've been working on it.
Leave the jokes to Jim.
I'll come up with a new act. Thank you,
Leave
Carlos.
the jokes. Love you, Jim. Fuck you, Sam.
Okay, you're right.
All right,
you're
Carlos,
You're
you
right.
won
No,
me over.
Carlos makes a good point.
He won me over.
He does. He
He's a
makes
cool
a good
guy.
point. He does. He seems like a good dude. Anyway.
That was a fine sign off.
No, he
that should
does.
be everyone's sign off.
It should be. It's the new show T-shirt. But we had a couple. So, Travis, you didn't see any Joaquin Phoenix jokers out there.
I didn't see any Joaquin Phoenix.
Maybe it's
jokers.
too new.
Could be.
Everybody was at Comic-Con. They hadn't seen the movie yet.
Yeah, but they saw the trailers.
That's true.
And plus, you can see what he. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the Heath Ledger one was so distinctive.
Yeah, I saw some Heath Ledgers.
Yeah.
Didn't see any Joaquims.
It's not Joaquims. It's Joaquin.
Sorry, I mispronounced it.
Okay.
Sometimes I mispronunciate my worms.
That's fun.
Carlos is steaming.
He's so steamed right now. Carlos is just slamming shit against his dashboard.
That's his reaction.
Tim.
Best.
A paper shot, but it blew away. I just saw Curb with Ricky, the Gervais episode of Curb. That fucking shit.
Isn't it amazing with Curb that it just stays good?
Yeah, that's always interesting.
Yeah.
Really, really funny.
And you're getting up there. You're almost done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be caught up.
Yeah.
The new one's season 10.
Yeah.
It just keeps being good though.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does.
We had the guys, Rob and Mike Montone went to Comic-Con. Because Mike, he likes to...
Sure he does.
He likes to get the pulse of New York.
Of course he does.
And let me tell you something. This weekend, the pulse was pulsating through the Jacob Javits Center.
I was away, or I would have gone.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go because I was, coming back from Orlando and then going to wherever in California. But I was home for a day, so I was like, you know what? The kids are napping. Let me go to Comic-Con for an hour or so.
But them by themselves?
No, we Jess and I cohabitate.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Mike, you went out there to get the kind of the read of the room. Is that right?
We did. It was a whole new world for me. I'm not.
You've never been to a Comic-Con?
I've never been before.
I mean, if you think Carlos,
thank you, Rob,
is pissed at the way I say Joaquin, at least I'm doing it on purpose. You know what my dad says? And he's not doing it on purpose. You don't need to finish that for me, Jim. It's a rhetorical question.
I'm just distracted.
There's no reason.
Okay.
Oh, what were you distracted by?
Go ahead.
Okay. He says, Comic-Con.
Comic-Con?
He always says that.
What do you think? It's in Russia?
Yeah, like it's a political conference. He says Comic-Con. But he's not being cute. He just thinks that's how you say it. I'm like, it's
Sam, go to Comic-Con.
He doesn't talk like that.
Have a potato.
Yeah, exactly. He pours himself a glass of buttermilk.
Yeah.
So, what's the word at Comic-Con? What brings you over to Comic-Con this weekend? I'm like, I need to go jump out a window. This is terrible.
That's terrible.
It's terrible. You don't want to say what you were distracted by?
No, this is my...
Oh, okay. Well, we have Mike Montone, Handsome Robin here. Mike Montone, of course, a legacy of news gathering.
That's right.
So you wanted to take that. Now, Rob, did you pick up on any of Mike's, the way he collects news, his habits, or were you impressed? Did you see the Montone family name at work?
Yeah, it's just speaking, with these Comic-Con goers.
Comic-Con.
Comic-Con.
Yes, Comic-Con.
That is how you conduct an interview, yeah.
Yeah. You speak to the people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting strategy. Okay, so we'll start, I guess, with this.
You guys keep talking. I'm going to piss again real quick.
Just went.
I know, but I drank 2 giant cold brews, and this is what happens. I got to pee. I'll be 2 seconds.
No, take it. Yeah.
I'll be right back.
I don't want you to get a UTI.
No, plus if we have Corey coming, we're not going to break, so I want to piss.
Yeah, I
before.
see.
I don't want to be uncomfortable during that interview.
No, you're right.
10 minutes ago.
No, he did. He literally just pissed just now. We were on break, and he pissed. He did a stand.
We had to stretch.
We did, and now he's going back to have another piss.
He didn't
for
even pee at
himself.
the beginning of the break. He peed at the end of the break.
Yeah, so it's not even like it's not been 15 minutes. It's been 10.
And I have a wonky prostate.
Right? No. Well, I think Jim's bathroom habits to me are very clearly psychological trauma.
I think Jim pees a lot out of fear.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with physical. It's like when you have back pain because you're stressed. They say that a lot of back pain is not actually
Maybe that's why I have back pain.
What are you stressed about? Yeah, exactly.
You don't stress you don't stretch or exercise. That's
true.
Yeah. His body is
Just
stressed
falling
by the
apart.
lack of activity.
I guess when you're near 40 and you just eat, frozen pizza and don't stretch.
Yeah, bagel bites and no physical activity. I mean, at some point.
That might do it. That might be it, other than the stress, right?
Yeah, I would say for you, you don't strike me as a guy. When there is something to stress about, I guess you stress, but day to day, you're not a stressed out person. You go, you do what you're supposed to do, and you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You looked pretty stress-free in Disney.
Oh yeah,
stressed. Oh, stress free.
Stress free.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
no stress down there.
That was well choreographed.
You know what? I am
planned.
stressed. I'm trying to get through Breaking Bad before El Camino comes out on Friday.
There's a lot. How many episodes you got
I'm
left?
still in season 4.
Fuck.
I
Fuck.
know.
Done.
I might have to take a day off.
Season 5, 16 episodes.
I know.
Shit.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
Oh
you're
yeah.
done.
There's a part 2 there.
Yeah.
Ah shit.
It's not going to happen.
Okay, so no wonder you got back pain.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that Jim's bathroom issues do probably date back to childhood traumas.
It's unfortunate.
I don't agree with that.
I mean, he's talked to us about the fact that any time as a child he would have to defecate, he would kneel by the bed in a praying position and just hold it in. Like, what is that? What is that?
It's a bit strange.
Who would do that? I'll tell you who would do that. Somebody that's been horribly, possibly ritualistically abused.
Ah, jeez.
You know?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he could hold in his pee for another break.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but once you see, I'm like this though. When you start thinking about it,
Yeah,
you start
exactly.
obsessing over it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but he probably started thinking about it right after he left the bathroom the first time.
Jim, good news. You haven't missed anything. We've been talking about your bathroom
Oh,
habits
really?
the
Yeah,
entire time.
okay, yeah,
the
right.
whole time you were gone, we were talking about how I think it all comes from, it's not a physical thing. It does come from you being certainly abused, possibly ritualistically.
No, I'm not saying that doesn't. That's not why I do other things.
I did bring up the kneeling by the bed as a young boy.
Oh,
trying to
holding in
hold
my
it.
doo-doos? Yes.
Holding your-
But no, I pee, I stand up. There's if it was mental, there wouldn't be the amount of piss that there is.
There's a lot of piss.
A lot. And
Okay.
it literally is just the caffeine. I'm drinking water, and I've drank 1.5 giant cold brews.
Right.
And caffeine is a fucking diuretic.
It is a
and they
diuretic.
shoot right through me.
I see.
Stop saying they're giant. They're like
it's a
small.
medium.
They're standard sizes. It's a medium.
Well,
It's the average size.
It's still a lot of caffeine.
A lot of fluid. Yeah.
One and
That's
a
a lot
half
of
is
fluid.
one and a
Hey,
half
well
is a
said.
lot to drink, but they're not
Yeah.
huge. They're just standard size.
I get it.
Picture this much liquid in your bladder
No,
with
it's a lot.
caffeine and water.
It is a lot. It goes right through. It is a diuretic.
Yeah, it makes you shit.
I haven't had to
yeah,
say-
Now he
diuretic
got it
doesn't-
in his head. Troy, what are you doing?
I mean, diuretic doesn't just mean diarrhea.
Yeah.
That's not what that word means.
For me, as soon as that coffee in the morning, man, there is an explosion in the.
I know,
toilet.
but Troy,
I'll
you
shit
have,
after the gym.
you have bowel issues.
Oh yeah, well,
You've never come
Sure.
into work
He's got
going
a
like,
wonky prostate.
he's got a wonky prostate
True.
and bad bowels.
everything's starting to go.
Everything.
Coffee does have a loosening effect on the anus, though.
It definitely
That's
does.
why you shit
Okay.
as soon as if you drink black coffee.
Yeah, so do a lot of Troy's habits in his personal life. So,
True. So is a finger.
yeah, yeah, exactly. A lot of times, though, it's not just a loosening of the sphincter; it's a lubrication of it.
No.
You know, so that'll all help, won't it?
I'm glad I didn't miss anything.
No, you didn't. You didn't. There's plenty of Comic-Con coverage to
And
go.
I woke up early to piss today. I mean, I woke up and I had to piss badly.
You woke up
No, probably a half hour early. I was annoyed.
because you would have far preferred to stay asleep and wet the bed.
Yeah, just go in the bed.
If I had those options, I would absolutely wet my bed because the housekeeper's coming today.
Oh, smart.
She would have just cleaned it up.
It wouldn't embarrass you as a 51-year-old man for your housekeeper to be like, "Oh, Mr. Jim wet his bed again."
No. Embarrassed about what?
Mr. Jim.
Oh, the pee-pee.
Yeah. Dale pipi en la cama. That's not embarrassing for you.
Not at all.
No. Yeah. Oh, I have this client. He's a 51-year-old famous comic. Yeah. Sometimes I have to change his sheets because he wets the bed.
Yeah. I want to put down rubber sheets so we can make a tinkle on them.
That's right. Well, you guys found not a great Spider-Man. To be honest, this is.
Looks like the fucking eye is in the middle of his head.
It looks. Yeah. It
It's
looks.
like a cyclops.
It looks like he made the eyes out of crepe paper.
It does appear so, yeah.
And like the bodysuit itself appears to be made out of puff paint. We're going to try to get all these videos on the app as we talk about them.
Yeah.
So if Sirius will put them on the app, they'll be up there. Because there's tons of video now available on our app.
I hope they will.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and the sewing lines aren't good. It's very bad Spider-Man.
Terrible.
Terrible Spider-Man.
You don't think that's a store-bought costume?
No.
No, I don't think so. It doesn't exactly look like a movie-used prop.
I don't know. It looks pretty good to me.
You like it?
Sure.
Okay. All right. And you just wanted to cover some news with him?
Yeah, well, the New York Post has been covering a very specific story like all summer, and I've been
Yes,
wanting
the homeless man who beat other homeless men to death.
the homeless Patrick Bateman. Yeah, I've been wanting to do some MOS on this one for a while.
What is MOS?
Man on the Street.
I see.
And this actually afforded me the opportunity to run it by some of the city's crime fighters. So I was happy.
That's
to do
actually
so.
very smart.
Good.
That's very smart. Okay.
There's sort of been a surge in crime in the city, and we're talking to some of our local superheroes to ask why they've done nothing about it.
He's doing the web slinger. He's doing the web slinger motions.
What is that? A white beeper taped to his? That is awful.
It looks like he made his web slingers out of maybe like a ring box with tinfoil over it.
They are self-made. He did let us know that.
Oh, he told you?
Yeah, he made them.
Did they sling web?
They tried.
Maybe. You'll have to find out.
No
Watch the
spoilers.
clip.
No, I'm sorry. Too many questions. No spoilers.
The New York Post reporting that subway masturbation and defecation is on the rise, and yet, we see you guys going around. You're trying to fight all these super villains. Who's the last person you helped bring to justice?
I gotta say, Mysterio.
Mysterio.
Yeah,
okay, so he's trying to remain in character,
sure.
even though you just brought up subway masturbation and defecation. Okay.
You ever whacked off on the 7 train?
I mean, he's done a lot of bad things. He's exposed my identity, so yeah.
As nefarious as that is, one might think that in the Me Too the Me Too era, a superhero like yourself might feel a sense of social responsibility to bring these subway masturbators to justice, and yet all we're seeing is inaction on your part.
Well, I'm gonna do something about it, and I'm.
The eyes are off center. It's awful.
They are off center.
It's an awful off center eyes.
Also, Spider-Man has a slight lisp.
Yeah.
Peter Parker, I saw the movies. He never had a slight lisp.
I just love that Mike is taking him to task for not
doing something about the subway. Yeah. That's all well and good about Mysterio, but what about the subway masturbators? And he's trying to stay in character.
Yep. He exposed my identity.
Yeah, and you're like,
did he?
Well, that's really
Spoiler. Also exposed his dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't really have anything to do with the task at hand here, Spidey. What are we doing?
Of this happening, so yeah.
So if you catch a guy on the 7 train shooting loads, you're gonna shoot a couple webs?
Yes, definitely. And they actually shoot, so.
So can we maybe test that? I'll.
He's still looking at the web slinger. He goes,
and they shoot,
and they actually shoot, and he's just shaking his wrist towards the ground. He starts bending over. He can't get the web out. That's so embarrassing. He's trying to talk about Mysterio. You're talking to him about jerking off. He can't get his web out of his thing.
Yeah, he can't do the most Spider-Man thing.
There's no web coming out.
No, there's not.
And I won't actually masturbate, but I'll mimic it for our watchers.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike's mimicking. It's just a spray.
He sprayed you with
It's
what?
water.
It's mace.
They actually reload,
So.
Oh, what a shit.
So your
fucking
answer
web.
to load shooters.
Wait. So he's trying to show off his costume. Meanwhile, you were just jacking off a microphone in front of him and going like, "Hey, Spidey, you have to stop me." And the right one won't work, so he has to shoot you with the left one.
His costume is god awful.
So-
the eyes literally are sticking off the head.
They look like they're made of construction paper.
Look at the red part of his outfit. It comes off like t-shirt sleeves. Like
Yes.
instead of looking like just one, kind of long spandex piece, it looks like he's got a shitty red Spider-Man t-shirt with sleeves that are torn off over a blue long sleeve shirt.
I'd have to say that's an abysmal outfit.
But at least the web slinging worked.
Yeah, and the eyes are centered.
Why would the web come out with a mist? It's web.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really make sense, but
You
there
did
are
stop-
a whole bunch of Spider-Mans in the universe. Spider-Men.
Yeah.
In the universe. So, and a lot of them do have different costumes.
Oh, so in one universe it could be a lady Spider-Man.
Correct.
In this universe it's a shitty Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see.
With a raised web thing.
Right, and with web, can you imagine Spider-Man? He jumps off a 30-story building and he goes to sling his web and it just missed. He'd be oh no! It just falls to his death because somebody replaced his web slingers with just a water spray.
Yeah, where does it come out on Spider-Man?
Of his wrists.
Yeah.
But is it always there?
No, he makes little pocket thingies. That,
No, but I mean,
it's under
is
his
the
costume.
hole in his wrist always there?
No.
Yeah.
It's supposed to
in
be
the
under his
newest one,
costume.
he like makes his own web.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Mm.
He does?
Yeah.
Mm.
In the Tobey Maguire one, that one came out of his wrist.
What does he make it out of?
When the spider bit him, he put web in him.
Yeah, it's some sort of
Yeah, the
Tony
Tobey Maguire
Stark.
movies are the real ones.
Those are the real ones for sure.
Especially the third one.
That's canon.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for sure. Oh my god. I mean, why would you even bother making the risk things if they don't work? Just don't put them on.
Well, he just wanted to be as realistic as he could. He thought he'd be a hit at Comic-Con.
Also, that might have been the first time anybody had asked him to use it.
Yeah,
that's true. You think he's just standing out there? Because like when you go to Comic-Con,
yep, I do.
On the concourse, right before you get into the main hall, it's impossible to get around because these people make these like really amazing looking, elaborate costumes, and they end up just kind of standing there while people take photos of them, with them. Do you think he was just standing on the concourse waiting for somebody to take his photo? What was he doing when you guys met up with him?
He was kind of strolling around. I think Rob was pointing superheroes out and explaining to me whatever the hell they do.
And Mike didn't really know.
Yeah,
he didn't know Spider-Man?
Well, I know Spider-Man. I know that was like
the
a good
basics,
basic
Batman,
one.
Spider-Man, Superman.
Whatever they play at the gym.
Yeah.
I want to create a fake one next year.
What kind of character?
What's the James Gunn movie going to be?
That was Suicide Squad.
No.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'd like to show up like a really elaborate, beautiful costume with a big G with a circle.
And what would you?
People would ask about it.
Yeah, hey man, that's a really cool costume. What hero are you?
Name? I'm Jeff from the new Guardians of the Galaxy.
And they're like, shouldn't it be Jay?
No, but they'd be like, what? Who?
Yeah,
like, Jeff. It's a new character.
There's no character. It's based on a comic book.
Make up qualities.
I've read the comic book.
Just make up qualities that don't exist.
Why would his name be Jeff?
It's terrible. It's really terrible.
What are his powers?
I have to think of them. I don't know.
Okay.
You know?
Let's rewind a little.
Fly sideways. Just awful shit.
Yeah, that's terrible. Terrible.
This costume is a bit. Look at the girl. Look at her face. Like, look at this asshole.
Oh, she's not impressed.
She cannot believe how bad this guy's costume
is. This is not one of the cosplayers that will fuck, unfortunately. Can't get it out.
So can we maybe test that? I'll masturbate, and I won't actually masturbate, but I'll mimic it for
good clarification, Mikey.
Yeah.
That was very good role play by both of you.
They actually reload.
I get a lot of practice.
So your answer to load shooters are web shooters.
Yep, definitely.
All right. Well, thank you for your service, Spider-Man, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
There's a shout out to Jim Norton in there.
Good.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Also, the web wouldn't damage people. It's just web. So like he's like, I'll shoot web at you, and then Mike was like, oh, you got me, like almost like it was a bullet, and he was like, yeah, that's what I do. But realistically, it'd be like, get this web away from me. I'm
like
gonna
tied up.
I gotta keep jerking off a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if it's a mist.
It would go around the body and then be like, oh,
not if
my
it's
God.
a mist.
No. Not if it's a mist.
It'd have to be a web.
Yeah.
Oh, you met Thanos?
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Learned all about him.
Now, this is a very elaborate costume we're looking at. This is Thanos, and he's made it out, I think, like a lot of cardboard, it looks like.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but he's got a big mask on with the extended Thanos jaw.
It's a very well-made costume.
Yeah, it is a well-made costume. And then he added kind of cardboard around his entire arm, so that way his arms look big and purple.
And he's got all the Infinity Stones.
Oh, so this is very, very dangerous Thanos.
Very
Infinity
dangerous.
Gems?
That too, yep. Someone's a comic book reader.
That's right. If you're in a comic book, it's Infinity Gems. Oh, we should probably hold off on this till tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Because Corey Feldman is here.
Yeah.
And we want to talk to Corey Feldman, but we will get back to this tomorrow because I want to know what Thanos and the Infinity Stones had to say.
Oh, we learned a lot about Thanos.
Oh, I can't wait. Well, the
Rob.
anticipation is going to kill me. Rob, you're embarrassing the whole show.
You really are knocking things over.
This is not good.
You're panic-stricken.
Rob, this is not a good show of you or any of us, quite frankly.
No.
This is going really poorly for you, buddy. Really, really poorly.
We're going to look like fools.
Yeah, I don't want to look like a fool in front of Corey Feldman. I want him to be impressed by all of us. He's outside. There he is.
Is he milling about?
Corey Feldman's coming in.
What's happening?
Hello, Corey.
How are you doing, man?
How you doing? How you doing?
We were just trying to make sure that our producer looked impressive, so he didn't make us look like fools in front of you.
we wouldn't want that.
No, we wouldn't want that at all.
Nobody knocked your headphones on the floor.
Well, do I need them?
If you want them, I mean, we're not taking calls.
Oh my God, it sounds like 3D now. That's so cool.
Now you're here with us.
Jesus, it's
Right,
so
better.
awesome.
Now
it's like a whole new world.
You're present with
a
us.
whole new world. Sorry.
Well, welcome, Corey. I'm
Thank
glad
you,
that you're
thank you.
here.
Glad to be here.
I was watching.
Why do you have a picture of Thanos up on your screen?
Well, our guys were at Comic-Con, and they got to meet some of the superheroes.
I see.
And so we were looking at their meeting
That
with
was
Thanos.
awfully nice of Josh to dress up in that makeup and
He
walk
did.
around Comic-Con all day.
He did. It's the real life Thanos.
That's actually a better costume than the Spider-Man who we just watched, which
Spider-Man
was
wasn't
homemade,
good.
awful.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, at least you don't live in Hollywood, because in Hollywood they have these guys that dress up as superheroes and they stand outside the Chinese theater and try to swindle money off of people.
They started doing that in Times Square. Like, you guys, that was only in Hollywood for the longest time.
Right, yeah.
And then bootleg Elmo and
They're grabbing girls' asses. There's always like assault charges on these guys.
started showing up in Times Square.
All I know is I was like walking my kid. He was like 4 or 5 years old, and this guy like drops out of like a scaffolding, and like he like goes down and picks up my kid and lifts him up into the air. And I'm like, "What is this?" And he's like, "I'm Spider-Man." I'm like, "No, you're not. You're some wacko in a costume. Put my kid down."
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't care what you're wearing.
Exactly.
Don't touch my child.
Right.
You must have had people dressed up as your characters. You must have had like people dressed up as Goonies and Lost Boys.
Every weekend when I go to those conventions, man.
That's right.
I did a tour this last year, which I don't do those types of things very often. Usually only when I have a new film coming out. But this last year, because I kind of disappeared for a few years after my last tour, we kind of went behind the radar and did a lot of underground work to make my documentary. And in the interim, wasn't making a lot of appearances, so we decided to do a Comic-Con tour, which was kind of a Goonies reunion / pop culture extravaganza, and it was amazing. Everywhere we went, there would be cosplay people dressed as different characters of mine. So whether it was like a guy with like a full Ninja Turtles costume with like a puppet head that actually worked, and you're just like, how do you build this stuff? Are you serious? To like people that look nothing like you wearing like a mouth costume, and their girlfriend is dressed as Steph or Andy, and then the kids dressed as Chunk, and they'll dress up a whole family like Goonies, and it's amazing. And then you've got people dressed as the Frog Brothers, or we ran into a guy dressed as Ricky Butler from The Burbs, or it's just it's crazy. Some people just dress as me. Some people dress as angels. They'll show up in lingerie and angel wings and stuff. Like, hey, I'm an angel, and I'm like, oh. Thanks.
Do you ever recruit for Corey's Angels No. So, like, if you meet somebody at Comic-Con going, like, I'm dressed as an angel, but I could really become an angel.
If they were really hot and they gave me a demo and it was amazing, I'm sure back in the day when we were recruiting for angels, we would have probably taken a listen. But this is, that was 5 years ago.
You're married now, right?
I'm married. I mean, not to say that Corey's Angels would have existed or wouldn't have existed with the marriage. Certainly my wife, was part of it and was one of the founders of it. So she wouldn't be opposed to it. It's just more that... Gosh, it was more trouble than it was worth, to be honest with you. I mean, it was great success. It was a thing that everybody seemed to love at the moment, but unfortunately, there was a lot of competitors who didn't like the fact that we were so successful so quickly, and they just basically did everything they could to trash us, both in the media and we would throw these events where they'd be sold out in seconds, and then all of a sudden we'd have the police banging in our door at 10 o'clock at night saying, you can't throw an event here and da 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 da, and we'd be like, what is this? But there was just a lot of sabotage. And
who were the competitors to Corey's Angels?
Well, we don't want to really talk about that.
Oh.
We don't want to out anybody, but let's just say that the whole thing started. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing started with my connection to Playboy, because Corey's Angels became an offshoot of that. And while Hef was still alive, he was very much supportive of it, to the point where on his wedding night with Crystal, the Angels were sitting at the table in front of him. And, it was almost like this passing of the baton sort of thing. So let's just say that around the time of the demise of Playboy, there were certain people with certain interests that were trying to take over that company that did not want to see it continue.
I see.
Yeah.
Do you feel vindicated at all? Because there was all this stuff about like sexual predators in Hollywood, and it sounded like, oh, Corey is just crazy. And then all of a sudden they find this tape that you claimed existed in the police department. Like, they found it.
It really is true.
Like, you really
of course
did.
They found it.
But I mean, it sounded...
No, you know why they found it? They found it because I was like, hey, guess what? I found my copy and I'm going to release it. And then they were like, oh, what do you know? He was right. Yep, we have it too.
Oh, is that what happened?
That's exactly what happened.
Do you feel vindicated at all?
No, I feel like I made them cop to something, but that doesn't mean that I feel vindicated. I'll feel vindicated when the truth comes out and these guys go to jail.
It really
That's when I'll
wasn't
feel vindicated.
It wasn't until the last 2 years. I feel like every time you would open your mouth about something, they'd be like, "Oh, there's crazy Corey Feldman being nuts again,
making up these wild stories."
And then this year, it's been like, "Oh, I don't know anything about Corey Feldman, but all this stuff he was saying, yeah, here's all the evidence. It was true.
Right.
It was true the
Well,
whole time."
let's just say that there's a reason why I created a movement called Kids 2. Kids 2 with a capital K, hashtag capital K, lowercase IDS, and a 2. And there's a reason for that, because Me Too is a lovely concept and a lovely idea, but unfortunately, it just ignored the fact that the kids are the biggest problem. The women being abused isn't the biggest problem. For the most part, women are grown-ups and they can take care of themselves and they can defend themselves. Unless, of course, they're being attacked or raped or something awful like that. But I mean, for the most part, they're grown humans. Children do not agree to any of this. They do not make a decision to go to a meeting in a hotel room. They do not make a decision to, become actors for the most part or go to auditions or whatever. It's their parents that are driving that. And they're just, kind of going along because their parents tell them this is what you need to do.
How are they protecting each other? Because it sounded really paranoid and conspiratorial, and then you hear all this stuff about, well, no, this guy was protecting that guy, and it's like, and it starts to seem like, wow.
Let me explain to you how the system. I mean, first of all, we made a documentary for this very reason, and the documentary is pretty much finished, but we're still looking for distributors. So anybody listening, if you happen to have the power or the company or the ability to distribute our film, come talk to me, because we need distribution. But the point being that in our film, we document the fact that this is not just my story. This is not just Corey Haim's story. This is the story of hundreds of kids who've been through the entertainment industry over the decades. And it's not just the story of their story, but it's also about the systemic abuse and the approach to covering it up and how that works and how it happens. So we go through the whole history. We show you exactly how it works, because there's certain codes, like key words, that are used between the lower level people in the industry that help cover all this stuff up. And the way they do that is just, it's like a simple looking the other way thing, where they're like, oh, there's this guy that's on the set that you probably don't want to work with, or you probably don't want to have, your kid hang around with, because we've heard he's kind of creepy. And they'll tell you that when you walk on a set. Well, my question is, why is the guy on the set? If you know he's creepy, why does he still have the job?
And by the way,
keep it vague. We've heard that he's kind of creepy.
Kind of creepy is code.
And that's right. Yeah. And then when something happens, or maybe it doesn't happen with him, but maybe it happens with one of his friends who comes to hang out with the kid because that guy seems totally normal, so he introduces you to his other friend or whatever it is. But then it gets to be a manager or an agent or a publicist or somebody that's really close, but not top level. I mean, that's the whole thing. Everybody's like, well, it's these executives. No, it's actually all the people on the bottom level that get away with murder. And the reason they get away with murder, whether it's a first assistant director or a director or a small-time producer or whatever it is, it's because the production company says to people like, yes, if there's a problem, we definitely want you to report it. We got to do the right thing. And so, the kid goes, or the mom or whatever goes, oh, okay, well then we're going to do the right thing. And they say, yeah, call your agent and file a report with the union, file a report with SAG. We don't do it here on the set, but you call your agent and you deal with it. And they're like, okay, we will. And so they call their agent and they get all intense and they're like, yeah, we need help with this. This is terrible. And the agent says, oh, you're right. That sounds terrible. I'll tell you what, we're going to make sure that we take care of this right away. But just so you know, once we start the process, and we're going to have to call the police because we're going to have to file a report because that's the only way this works. And then we have to report it to the union. Once these reports are made, there will be investigations and we will get to the bottom of it and hopefully we can get you some justice. Mm-hmm. But again, just so you understand, once that happens, well, the show's going to get shut down. Because obviously once a complaint is filed, they're going to start looking at us. Then everybody's going to have to take a hiatus. Possibly the show will get shut down permanently. And then everybody no longer has a job. And then, they're all going to kind of look at you and go, well, yeah, the reason nobody has a job is because this kid complained.
Right.
So this kid's going to get blacklisted and this kid's never going to work again. So do you want to be responsible for costing all of these people their jobs? Now nobody's got a place to go to work. Now nobody's got anywhere to go. And it's all your fault. But hey, we'll take the report.
The agents are somehow, again, it's never actually said, but they're somehow tied. Right. Did Leaving Neverland present like a real dilemma for you? Because here's Michael Jackson.
I'd rather not talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah. I've already said what I have to say on the subject, and I'd rather stay away from the whole Michael Jackson topic if possible.
Well, it wasn't even really about him, other than when you look at other people who are, whether they're his or anybody else's perceived victims, is it hard for you to not listen to somebody when they say, hey, this happened to me?
I have to listen to somebody because I'm the ambassador for Child USA. So my point and my purpose is to take every single abuse claim seriously. Now, does that mean that they're all true? Not all true. But when it comes to childhood sexual abuse, 90% of claims are true. So therefore, we have to take it very seriously. And yes, there are cases where people go after the money, and it's not necessarily true, but those cases generally come from adults who are claiming stuff that happened when they were younger, not in cases where kids start talking about it at an early age. You heard me talking about it at 18. Okay, I went to the police. Now, I was a rare exception because at the end of the day, most people are not comfortable dealing with it till they're much older and much later in life. So in their 50s and their 60s. That is the general. That's why the statute of limitations was always set at such a young age, because they knew that people weren't going to be able to deal with it until much later in life. Okay, so at 55, that's when male adults finally come to terms with the fact like, hey, that wasn't okay with me. That emotionally scarred me. Maybe that's why my marriages haven't been working out. Maybe that's why I've been an abusive father. Maybe that's why blah, 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 blah. Because they've suddenly realized that they hate themselves or they hate the people that did this to them. But it's too late because you can't get therapy for something when you're an old dog, right? You can get therapy for something when you're young enough to actually change it. So the point is that what we're doing, like in New York, we passed the CVA with the help of Child USA. And what that did was that allowed for the first time in New York, there to be a 1-year look back window to open old cases. And it also put forth a longer statute of limitations in the state of New York. So we had to go fight for that in Albany. We got it passed this year. It changed in January. And that's why you saw indictments for R. Kelly and Jeffrey Epstein in the first place this year.
Who's fighting this? Sorry, is it the church? I know the church has fought certain statute of limitations things because they're afraid it will bankrupt them.
Of course. Do you know how much the church's insurance people spend every year on child molestation cases? They have insurance people that go out there and they protect them, and they spend, I think it's like $70 million a year on insurance. Just on insurance.
Just on the on the basic coverage.
Right. To make sure that their priests get to stay employed and move from pastor to pastor or from,
That's when you know that there's a lot of
church to
damage,
church.
that $70 million in insurance is cheaper than actually
right.
solving the
Is that
problem.
Allstate? Do you go like from, how do you ask Allstate for insurance against sexual kids?
It exists.
Claims?
That's the scary thing. It exists. So it actually benefits them to have the sexual assault because otherwise nobody would get paid.
Do you think in getting...
That's why they move them around. That's why they don't just handle it, right? It's just frustrating.
Do you think the fact, and we won't get into Michael, but my question is about you and the fact that, you've been really public about, I was great friends with Michael and there was nothing to the accusations in my case. Do you think that that's complicated because those accusations about Michael have been around for as long as they've been around? Do you think that becomes a complication when you're trying to get your message across?
I thought this wasn't about Michael.
It's about the message.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems a little bit of a sidewinded kind of,
Well, it's one of those things that
curveball.
It becomes difficult to talk about the topic when that's been such a prevalent part of the conversation for decades.
No, the only problem is I can't go and question the people that I would normally probably question pretty hard if it doesn't feel right to me because of the fact that I'm the ambassador for Child USA. Because I can't go and say, well,
right,
these guys definitely can't be telling the truth.
That
I can't
answers my
say
question.
that. That's
Yes.
not right, because then I would be just as tone deaf as the rest of the people that are ignoring everything that I'm saying and everybody else is saying. So
Yes.
we all have to listen.
Although
that's the point.
You're a guy who's dealt with it. Like, you've had it happen. So as a what is something, and again, I know it's different with different people because everyone's kind of an individual, but if you're listening to any person talk about, say, sexual abuse, what is something that would set off the alarm bells in your head to go, that doesn't sound truthful?
For anything.
Like what is something that, as a person who's lived through it?
Look, again, I'm not here to try and question why somebody wouldn't be telling the truth. I'm not here to question how that doesn't sound truthful. I'm here to say, if this sounds like injustice, we need to find justice. That's my job.
Mm-hmm.
My job is to find the path for them to deal with their case. And if they find lawyers and they report their stuff to the police and there's a thorough investigation and it turns out not to be provable, well, then so be it. It turned out not to be provable. But at least they should have their shot. They should have their chance. That's all I'm saying. Every voice should be heard.
What did you think when you found out that Jeffrey Epstein had committed suicide in jail.
He did not commit suicide.
Right? I don't think so either.
I'm in the minority.
So.
I think that he did, but
really,
I really don't think so.
I think he saw that his life was over, and he did.
You do realize that he had just met with his lawyer that day, and they had just gone through an entire plan of how he was going to make a deal again, like the deal he made the last time that got him out.
I know. For me, what convinced me that he did it was the fact that he wrote a will out a couple of days before, and he put all of his money in trust, and I think he just saw that his life was over. I mean, would it shock me completely if it was something else? No, not at all. But I just don't. I just see
no footage still.
Are you a big Trump supporter?
I have mixed feelings about Trump. I didn't vote for him. I don't hate him.
Okay.
I think he's right about the press. He's 100% right about the press. But I think there's a lot of things that I don't like his stance on gay people. I don't like his stance on a lot of things.
But you know that he's not 100% right about the press.
I feel he is, and that includes Fox and all of them.
Come on,
I feel that he's 100%.
Well, he loves Fox.
You do realize that he says that because he doesn't want the people to believe anything they hear on the news because it might be the truth and it might make him look bad.
But I'm on the outside.
You do realize that, right?
No, I don't realize that because I'm not him.
No, but I'm saying you can always say like, look, it's real easy to go like, hey, don't believe anything you hear that's bad about me from anybody else because they're saying it, not me.
No,
anybody can do that.
What I'm saying is, my belief in the press, long before Trump became president, is they're agenda driven.
Oh yeah,
and they're
absolutely.
biased,
absolutely,
and
they will twist a story. But
it.
Here's the thing, okay, and this is what everybody needs to realize: the difference between fake news, as he calls it, and real fake news is there is no such thing as fake news when it comes to national media, when it comes to international media. When you're talking about the major news networks like NBC, Fox, CBS, whatever. All of them have to base their stories in reality. They have to have a basis of reality to fact check against, and they have to prove that they've done A, B, C, and D to fact check their stories to make them legitimate. So there has to be substance. Listen, I'm a guy who's been lied about a lot and has been completely twisted in the media. So I'm saying this from a perspective of like, I know the difference between what fake news is and not fake news.
Well, fake news doesn't say that Martians have landed. I mean, fake news is always based with factual human beings.
Thank you. That's my point. Not just factual human beings, but factual events that have taken place.
But the fake news thing wasn't started by Trump. I believe that was started by Democrats when they were getting positive news stories, and that was not started by Trump. But they did not start the whole fake news.
The first time I heard,
you're missing my point. My point is that there are certain elements that they will make up to color a story in their favor or towards their objective, so that it sounds more something suitable for their base, for their audience.
Right.
Whereas, or if they want to get rid of a certain celebrity or they want to shoot somebody down, then they'll all kind of jump on them at the same time. And that, I believe, is guided and is directed. And there is a common goal within the media to destroy this certain person or to build a certain person up. That's for sure. And I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is they don't take it out of nowhere. They always have to have a basis for their story. And there has to be an element of truth at the beginning and end of each story.
But you're in a way making my point. I know what you're saying. But to me, it's not whether it's about Donald Trump or whether it's about Hillary Clinton.
Right.
It's the idea that the reason they're frauds is because they lie about the fact that there is an agenda that they're going on.
That's true.
I'll
give you that.
They live under this umbrella of we are impartial and we are reporting. But they are, first of all, A, they're creating things because they want to report on them, and B, they are reporting from a point of bias, and they have never admitted that. Like, forget Trump. Why are they never doing the story about how are we responsible for shootings? Like, they do the story about how comic books are responsible, how violent video games are responsible, guns are all valid points, but they never do the story about how are we as the press partially responsible.
What is our
for these
part?
shootings.
What is our responsibility?
Yeah,
How do we make ourselves better?
I believe about the press. Donald Trump,
that.
I don't agree with everything he says at all, but I do think about the press. I love the fact that he drives them crazy and they do not know how to deal with him.
He does. Like
he makes them nuts.
But he likes to hold up the ones that are nice to him.
Sure. I mean, of course.
Exactly.
And, of course.
And the thing is, look, at the end of the day, I agree. I think it's funny, but we're in a very serious state of affairs right now. We're just not at a place where we have the ability to have the room to laugh at certain things.
Sure we do. Of course we do.
I don't think so.
What can't we laugh at?
Well, we can't laugh at the fact that there's no protection for animals. We can't laugh at the fact that, children
We can't
are
laugh
being,
at animals?
We can't laugh at the fact that there's no protection for animals.
Sure we can. We laugh at murder. I mean, I'm not saying that...
We shouldn't be laughing at that either.
All right.
We shouldn't be laughing at children being taken advantage of
do you mean the president,
as a society.
The president,
as a society.
But a comedian You're talking now.
Comedians cannot call somebody black, fat, ugly, stupid. I mean, do you realize what society we're living in? Comedians don't have the liberty to speak their free mind anymore.
Great. So what?
But that's the truth.
So
it's
what-
not
so-
my choice, but that's the way it's been done.
Are you saying that's good,
so
or-
what should?
No, I don't think it's good. I think it's too much. I think it's too much.
Okay.
But that's the society that we've framed ourselves in now.
Okay, I see
to
what
where
you're
we
saying.
can't even
Yeah.
joke anymore, and it sucks. But that's the way it is. But that's because things have gotten so serious, and things are at a threshold right now of everything's about to explode in our faces.
But that's
all the time.
that's unfortunately I don't think it's about the culture and the things are serious. I think that it's people's have gotten very used to having our own news feeds and our own comfort zones, and we don't want things made fun of that we don't like made fun of.
Everybody's got that.
about
Everybody's too
self-centeredness.
sensitive, right?
Self-centeredness.
I agree.
It's not about the country being too serious. It's about the narcissism of individuals thinking that what's important to me shouldn't be mocked.
Right, exactly. And it's like, well, if everybody does that, then nobody gets to have fun anymore. Nobody gets to laugh anymore. Where's the joy in life?
That's true.
But that said, too, there are, and again, there's things that I feel like the president should be defending, regardless of his agenda. Like, you don't take away protections for endangered species. If all of a sudden we go and shoot all of the bald eagles, what are we going to put up on our American flag? A severed head?
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah, that stuff I agree with.
There's
The
got to
animal
be
stuff,
some
fine.
kind of American, pride and nostalgia for the things that we've grown up, respecting and honoring.
But don't you think they give him no credit for any? Like literally, if Obama had met with Kim Jong-un, they'd be saying he's a diplomat. Trump meets with Kim Jong-un, they're like, it's photo op. Like you just.
I don't know.
that's what
I think
kinda
if
makes me
Obama,
crazy.
if Obama would have met with Kim Jong Un, they would have said that he's definitely a terrorist and definitely siding with Kim Jong Un so they can plot and plan against the world. Come on, everybody said
That's
he
true.
was
The
a Muslim
people-
terrorist.
CNN
dude.
wouldn't have.
Yes,
Fox
they said
would
that.
have.
Fox would have. Yeah, but again, Fox is kind of. Here's what I like about Fox more is they acknowledge, and we all know that they are biased.
Well, we know that, but they don't acknowledge it. They say they're fair and balanced.
Exactly.
I mean, that's
everyone-
literally the slogan.
I know, but celebrities not going on Fox. Like, ugh.
It's all the same. It's all the same.
It
The,
is.
the right's pissing on the left's pissing on the right, and everybody just needs to stop and listen for a minute. Because guess what? We're not going to make things better until we take what both sides want and what both sides need and find an even place in the middle to get along.
But in fairness, you did just ask me after we were talking about something else. You're like, "Are you a Trump supporter?" Like you asked me if you mentioned Trump. I forget what we were just discussing.
Epstein.
Epstein.
Well, yeah, because we were
because I
talking about
believe that he.
Epstein.
And
Yeah,
then you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
but meanwhile. It was an odd question because Trump isn't even accused by any of Epstein's
Well,
accusers.
he was on the plane with him many, many times.
Yeah, but
he
the
was
accusers
at
all
many
said-
parties with him, and he's been to his home many times.
But the most of the people have said that Trump did nothing seedy.
They've said there's more
And the
evidence of the
Clintons-
Clintons.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's also reports of like a girl who said that Trump raped her at one of his parties, and there's like a well drawn
not
out.
heard that.
Oh yeah, I read the entire report where like she talks about him like smacking her, throwing her down on the bed, like detailed. So all I'm saying is don't look the other way. There's information on both sides, and you've got to read all of it to make your decisions.
Well, and you would know better than anybody with all the time you've been in Hollywood. I mean, my theory has always been the most powerful people are the ones that we don't even know what their names are. We've never heard of them.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Most of them walk in the shadows. I mean, that's the bottom line. But there are still very famous people that have done some very bad things, and those are the people we're trying to expose in our documentary. Not all of them. I mean, all I know about is what I know about. There's many other people with many other stories, and they're going to have to come forward on their own. But the one guy that I do know did some terrible things, who's still out there, who's very powerful, who's gotten away with murder, needs to be stopped.
What does he do?
I know
What's his
I
position?
can't tell you that.
Is it in the documentary?
Why? Well, if he's out
Of course
abusing
it is.
people, why can't you tell us?
Because it would have me killed. That's why.
Do you mention him in the documentary?
Of course, yes.
Wait, hold on. So you mentioned him in the documentary.
Uh-huh.
He possibly still abusing people,
Right.
but you won't say it publicly.
Correct.
Then how is he not going to have you kill when the documentary comes out?
Because the point is once all the information is out there and people can actually put the pieces together and understand what happened, then the investigators can start going after him. But
So
if
the
you just
idea
say
is-
a name, what does that do?
No,
It
I'm not
does
saying
nothing.
say a name. I'm saying
it
I
just
don't get
doesn't do
sued.
anything.
I'm
You
saying-
have to give people the background. You have to give them the
The
story.
idea
You have
is
to
that
give
the-
them the evidence and lay out all the facts.
The documentary would have the evidence to make it undeniable, so
Correct.
killing you would do nothing because it would be there. But if you
so
just
even if he does
said-
kill me, it won't matter. As long as the movie's out,
Yeah.
I don't care.
I get what you're saying. Whereas
can
if
kill
you
me,
just
that's
said
fine,
it now
but let me
and
get
he
it out
killed
first.
you, he could silence the documentary. No
Correct.
evidence would come out.
Correct.
And it'd be all good.
And it'd be Jeffrey Epstein all over again.
I see.
Yeah.
I get the theory.
Okay.
All right.
right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not asking for his name. I was just saying what kind of I think he's a producer. You know, like
He's very famous. I'll tell you that. He's very famous.
Is he behind? He's not an actor.
I'm not going to start going down there. He has risen. Everybody come see the documentary when it's released and get all the information in the facts straight so that you understand it. So from that point on, you can make your decision on how you want to proceed in either supporting or not supporting.
I like the interview that you did with Good Day New York because you went on and you were talking about the show that you're doing, Marriage Boot Camp Family Edition, which is on WeTV Friday at 10 p.m. But you told them, they were like, oh, why are you doing this show? And you were like, because they gave me money to do the show, and it allowed me to fund my documentary.
That's right. I'm a very honest person. I don't
it.
play games. It's just like, look, I was struggling. I had no way to get this thing done because there was an entire disinformation campaign created around me by people who you would least expect to be the ones to do it. And they created an entire conspiracy of people who just tried to destroy my life. I had death threats. I had 2 attempts on my life. I had people coming after me from all angles, Satanists, all this crazy stuff all over the internet. Yes, you know about it. So it was all over, and it tortured me for a year and a half, and it was very, very difficult. And they drained all my accounts. They created false allegations against me. I had to hire lawyers. I had to hire security. All this crap, right? And it drained my account so that I couldn't make the damn documentary. So what happened was I'm sitting there broke. Because
you're paying for lawyers, you mean?
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, what do I do? How do I get this done now?
Yeah.
So they knew that. I mean, they're very smart. They've done this before, and they know that if they drain your financial resources, you can't get crap done, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so I'm sitting there going like, how do I do it? And these people come along, they're like, hey, you want to do this show? And I'm like, what's the upside? And they said, well, the upside is you get to heal with your brother and, deal with all these problems from your past. And I'm like, yeah, but do I want to do that on TV? Like, it's better to really do that behind the scenes. They're like, well, we'll pay you a bunch of money. And I was like, that could help because then I can make this damn documentary and get the information out. Because look, I'm the last guy that wants to sit here sitting on this information. I really don't. And I don't want to be sitting on it longer than I have to. The only reason I'm here right now and have peace in my heart is because the documentary's done and people have copies of it.
And you need a distributor.
Yeah. So I'm saying, but if somebody shot me right now, they would still put it out. Like, it's going to come out. There's nothing that's going to stop it at this point. It's just a matter of when.
It's a matter of when. And have you thought about doing, and I like the honesty about why you did the marriage boot camp. Have you thought about doing something like a 60 Minutes or something like where it almost makes you untouchable if you come out and you say this is
such a big interview.
Yeah, it's like there's
they got to ask me. I mean, you know how it works. I can't sit there knocking on their door going, please do an interview with me and take me seriously, because that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
But hopefully somebody gets the point and gets the balls and comes to my side and goes, yeah, let's get this done. Come on. I mean, I'm willing to put my balls out there. I'm willing to throw everything out there and say, I'm putting my life on the line. I've had 2 death threats. I'm not stopping. Why can't somebody just hand me a damn check and say, let's get this done. Let's go get the space. Let's get the theater space. Let's get the advertising. Let's put it out. I'm not a studio. I can't do it. I can produce it. I can make it with all my own money. I can put all the information. I can do the detective work, but I am not a studio. I cannot put it out to the world. I don't have a platform.
Where do you think it will wind up? Because I doubt they're going to show it in a theater. I mean, if
it should be.
You can get it out digitally at this point.
Yeah, I'm only saying if there's powerful people, they probably have a certain ability to stop it.
No, you can four-wall them. That's what my plan is, what I'd like to do. I wish somebody would just go, here's the money for the budget so that we can rent, say, 100 theaters. Just 100 theaters. I don't need 100,000. I need 100 theaters, because once it's in 100 theaters and everybody sees it at the same time, it's going to spread like wildfire, like R. Kelly, like, Leaving Neverland, whatever. People are going to wake up on Monday morning and go, holy crap, this is the guy. We got to do something about this. And people are going to get motivated and it's going to change.
Does he know he's the guy?
Yes.
So do you think he's nervous about this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, of course, he's tried to have me killed. Of course, he's nervous about it. But on top of that, there's other guys. It's not just like I said, I'm going to show the history and the lore of this thing so people understand that this is a systemic abuse that has been going on for generation after generation. We're not just interviewing me and my friends who know about our situations, but we're also interviewing Disney kids who are coming forward with stories in this generation. We're talking about kids before my generation in the 70s that were being molested. So we go back, to the beginning, and we show that this has been going on historically.
Has he reached out to you?
And then we also show that, there's going to be more if we don't stop it now.
Sorry, has he reached out to you at all through other people and tried
Sure.
Tried to scare you or tried to offer you?
Never an offer. Never an offer.
Just a threat.
Yeah, and never clearly, just kind of like, you're not really saying anything, are you? Okay, good.
You figure if he was smart, he would offer to buy the documentary.
Well,
I guess, but he probably
let's
doesn't
not
want.
let's not put any ideas out there.
But no, you get
because
a
he
dummy.
wouldn't do it as him. He's gonna
you get a dummy company, you buy it, and you sit on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're afraid of. So we have to vet very carefully anybody that we deal with.
That's
you're
why I'm
right.
not trying to give him hints.
No, but you're right that they do stuff like that, and you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Is Ascension Millennium the greatest thing that you did?
It's
in
the greatest song in the history of the world. What are you talking about, man?
Defines the Corey's Angels era for sure.
It's one of them. Go For It was pretty defining too. But
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. I love that.
Listen, we were very grateful for the hits that we got, and
Ascension Millennium is my favorite thing ever.
He's
you.
obsessed. I'm glad that you liked it.
And I mean,
liked
I liked it so much that we're having a perfectly grand conversation here, and I had to shoehorn it in.
Yeah, right,
Like,
exactly.
I couldn't let you walk in this room.
Well, the bottom line is you didn't have it playing on marathons, so you couldn't love it that much. No,
didn't it play when we came back from
we
break?
literally played it coming
Oh,
in
wow,
for break.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course. Well,
you know, look, I'm very grateful and lucky that at midway through my life, I actually finally scored a hit or two on an album because I'd only done 6, and I think it's about time somebody listened. But hey, you never know. I could have done 10 and nobody listened, so I'm very grateful for it.
And we were at Kevin Undergaro's birthday party, Maria Menounos' husband.
Yes.
When you were there,
They were lovely people.
and he insisted on singing to
Ascension
you.
Millennium.
Ascension
Yes,
Millennium.
I know. I
Is that
remember.
uncomfortable? He is
It was
obsessed.
awkward. It was a bit awkward. Yes.
I told him it was very awkward.
Very awkward
and your
for me.
Poor Corey is sitting there going
Did
like,
I leave like 5 minutes afterwards?
you did.
Yeah.
And Kevin sang the entire song.
Yeah.
He didn't only do half of it.
No, the whole thing.
And it was like 10 minutes after I walked in, and I was like bright red, and I was like, "Thank you, that's really sweet. Gotta go."
Yeah, they are
but
wonderful people.
They
though.
are very nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
yeah. Well, look, I hope this thing comes out because here on this show we combed through all the R. Kelly, the whole mini series. We combed through the whole Finding Neverland.
And I hope you'll be combing through Truth, the Rape of Two Corys very soon.
100%.
That's what it's called.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, I'm glad that all this stuff is finally like seeing the light. And
It
it's
has
like
to.
All
It
of
has
these
to.
stories, like they're kind of you've heard whispers forever, and it's
Right.
kind of like it's probably not real. It's probably not real
Because
And
we
I
don't
feel
want to
like-
believe it's real because it's too
Yes.
horrifying
Yes,
to imagine
that's
that
right.
people would actually turn the other way when this shit is going on for kids.
That's right.
You just don't want to believe that people are that sick.
So
But
support
they
it
are.
and watch
promote,
Marriage Boot Camp
yes.
Family
That's
Edition.
right, because otherwise the producers of WeTV are going to kill me. So this Friday night, it starts out, I guess, at like
Corey even
9
said in the
o'clock.
interview with Fox, he's like, I don't even know if the show is going to be good. I don't know if it's going to be respectful. I hope it's good, though.
I do. Well, look, I've done reality shows before,
Yeah.
okay? And out of the 3 that I've done, one of them I produced and it went off great. The
Yeah.
other 2 I didn't produce and I got screwed. So all I'm saying is I don't know what they're going to do in the end, but we're going to hope because this is a therapeutic show that they're going to handle things respectfully and they're going to understand that these are some very serious topics we're dealing with. We're talking about child abuse. We're talking about sex abuse. Aaron Carter, as everybody knows, is kind of a mess right now,
Yeah.
and we don't want to send him off the rails any more than he already is. We also don't want to send me or my brother or any, it's volatile situations that could definitely erode very quickly if they're not handled properly, right?
Yes.
So that's all I'm saying is hopefully they handle it respectfully and they don't do the cheesy, surreal life version of reality shows, because if they do, there could be some very, very negative backlash. So I'm putting my faith in the producers and the people at WeTV to produce a healthy, therapeutic, positive outlook on how we're trying to make our lives better. And if that's what it is, hey, hallelujah. We'll all be happy, right?
Come back in when you get distribution.
Thank
We'll
you.
do everything we can to
I
help you
do
promote.
appreciate that,
Yeah,
guys.
for sure,
I
man.
appreciate
We're
it.
done for the day.
Yes.
Back
Thank
tomorrow.
you very much, Corey.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Corey.
guys.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
We'll be back with more Jim Norton and Sam Roberts.